Chapter 12:14. The yellow light seemed to return to the origin. Everyone who was enveloped by it felt like they had stepped into the reincarnation cycle. It was as if their past and present lives were flashing before their eyes, and they couldn't tell them apart. Spells were created by manipulating the power of heaven and earth using a special method. This was a spell, and its strength was related to one's cultivation and cultivation method. On the other hand, divine abilities were a method to increase the might of these illusory magic arts. As the saying goes, change leads to change. This was a type of transformation and condensation of origin energy. Tao spells were different. Very few people could master them. Rumor had it that only by comprehending the Tao realm could one comprehend a Tao spell. The attack of a Tao spell was similar to a battle of intents, but their origin was different. A battle of intents was a competition of comprehension. It was a battle of the mind, and it was very mysterious. But Tao spells were a kind of sublimated power, a kind of soul obliteration. Different people had different comprehension in the Tao realm. When the white-haired old man became a member of the Ceiling Extermination clan, he was lucky enough to enter the Tao realm for a moment. There, he comprehended a truth related to the origin of man. What was the origin of man? In his opinion, it was the memories of the soul. He believed that a person's life was, in fact, a memory. If the memory wasn't destroyed, then even if the person died, they could live on endlessly. Similarly, if the memories related to the concept were completely erased, then they would disappear without a trace, as if they had never existed. Then the memory would be incomplete, and the incomplete part would cause the person to become an immortal that had fallen into the mortal world. At this moment, what the white-haired old man was using was the rare Tao spell that he had comprehended from the Tao realm. The Ji realm represented extreme power, the Sure realm represented the power of creation, and the Tao realm represented the power of immortality. Yellow light filled the air. This light was gentle, but it was enough to penetrate everything in the world. It landed on Wang Lin's body, passing through the battle intent around his body and directly entering his soul memory. 3 breaths of time is enough. The white-haired old man suddenly closed his eyes. His vitality disappeared, as if he had returned to the dust. Wang Lin felt the world spin. In his eyes, the 7 colors in the sky were no longer there. Instead, the surrounding clouds rapidly changed until they became a clear blue sky with white clouds. The sky was azure and very clean. The ground in his eyes began to tremble rapidly. In his daze, he felt as if he was hallucinating. The ground under his feet disappeared layer by layer, and the mountains in the distance shrank bit by bit. Everything in front of him disappeared, and all that was left was a lush green forest. A small path appeared next to him. It was a dirt road in the village, and up ahead was the emerald forest. A wind blew through the forest, causing the leaves to rustle. The wind also carried with it the fragrance of the earth, which was very intoxicating. I fell asleep. Wang Lin opened his sleepy eyes and stared blankly ahead. After a long time, he turned around and looked behind him. At the end of the path, there was a peaceful mountain village. Smoke rose into the sky, and from time to time, the sound of children playing could be heard, mixed with the barking of dogs. It seems like I had a dream. Wang Lin scratched his head. His honest expression revealed a hint of confusion. He picked up the book beside him and stood up. He looked at the forest in the distance, and vaguely saw a mountain surrounded by clouds and mist, as well as the pavilion of the sect on the mountain. In the dream, I seemed to have become an immortal. After living for more than 1,000 years, perhaps I'm tired from reading, but I never thought I would have such a strange dream. Wang Lin was lost in his confusion. Taizhu, your father is looking for you. Why aren't you going back to see him? While he was lost, a voice entered Wang Lin's ears. It was a middle-aged man with a hunting fork in his hand. He was about to leave the village to hunt. Behind this middle-aged man, there were a few sturdy young men. One of them looked at Wang Lin and said with a smile, "Taizhu, study hard and become a top scorer. Let our village have some glory." Wang Lin scratched his head as he waved at them and quickly walked toward the village. Behind him came the kind laughter that accompanied him as he walked further and further away. It's really strange, this dream is too real. Red Butterfly, Li Muwen, Lu Mei, Mu Bingmei, Lu Yanfei, Li Qianmei, and Yunxi, Rosefinch's son, Situ Nan, Tian Yunzi, and so on. Or Rosefinch Divine Emperor, Azure Dragon Divine Emperor, Tua Sin, Tu Si. I remember that he also accepted 2 disciples. One was named Shi San and the other was named Xie Qing. As Wang Lin walked, his mind was still a blur. Suzaku has an ancient god? Aside from Suzaku, there is also a serene? And the Cultivation Alliance? And the 4 Divine Sect? The place I'm in is called the Alliance Star System. In the dream, I even went to the Luo Tian Star System and the Cloud Sea Star System. I even went to the Celestial Realm. Wang Lin was stunned for a long time. When he raised his head, he was already at the door of his house. He shook his head vigorously and let out a sigh. This dream is really strange. In the dream, father and mother are already dead. Wang Lin no longer thought about the strange dream. He pushed open the door to the yard and walked in. He immediately saw his father holding a tobacco pipe. He was knocking the ash off the ground and staring at him. Seeing his father's stern gaze, Wang Lin's heart skipped a beat. "Taizhu, how are your studies?" Wang Lin softly said, Not bad. Humph, Taizhu, you have to study well. Next year is the county's exam. Whether or not you can have a future will depend on yourself. Don't be like your father, staying here forever." Alas! Wang Lin's father shook his head and stood up. At this moment, his mother walked out and complained a bit about Wang Lin's father. The family sat in the yard, and while they were eating, Wang Lin hesitated a bit. He looked at his father and softly said, "Dad, I just had a dream." Before he finished speaking, the sound of a carriage came from outside. Soon, there was a knock on the door. Wang Lin was startled. He remembered that, in the dream, 4th uncle had come. "Second brother, open the door." Subconsciously standing up, Wang Lin ran to the door and opened it. Outside, he saw a strong man with a pair of tiger eyes. He rubbed Wang Lin's head and said with a smile, "Taizhu, I haven't seen you in half a year. You have grown taller." Wang Lin's eyes became absent-minded. He didn't know why he sat back down in his chair. After an unknown amount of time, 4th uncle's voice faintly entered his ears. "Second brother, second sister-in-law, I want to tell you something. This year, the Hengyu sect is accepting disciples. I want Taizhu to try. Once he is accepted, he will become an immortal. This is a very rare opportunity." Immortal? Can this little brat do it? Wang Lin's father was excited, but his expression was hesitant. "When immortals accept disciples, I heard there is some kind of test. Let Taizhu try." Hearing this, Wang Lin's body suddenly trembled. Looking at 4th uncle and his father, his vision became blurry again. The scenes in his dream seemed to be pulled by a strange force and appeared in his mind. He saw himself walking out of the mountain village and failing the test. Under the ridicule of his relatives, he left the mountain village alone. When he was resting on a cliff, a ferocious tiger suddenly appeared behind him. He fell off the cliff and was sucked into a strange cave. Inside the cave, he picked up a bead. The moment his right hand touched the bead, he suddenly heard a cry of alarm. "Heaven! Heaven-defying bead!" This voice was very familiar, very familiar. It was as if he had heard it somewhere before, but no matter how hard Wang Lin thought, he couldn't remember where he had heard this voice before. However, this cry of alarm was immediately replaced by a scream of pain. It was still that familiar voice that seemed to be suffering unimaginable pain. The scream of pain filled his ears. The time in front of Wang Lin's eyes seemed to be collapsing and a 7-colored light appeared. In the blink of an eye, his vision blurred. It was as if the power controlling his memories had become chaotic. Several years had passed, and the environment around him had changed drastically. He was fleeing at full speed, and the mountains and forests flashed past the corner of his eyes. His speed was fast, and a sense of life and death crisis filled his mind. A gloomy voice came from behind him. It was a young man with a cold gaze who calmly chased after him. In this life and death crisis, Wang Lin's mind suddenly became blurry again. The faint scream of pain became more and more clear. He had a feeling that he was about to remember whose voice it was. Just at this moment, the environment around him suddenly changed again. At this moment, he was inside a huge valley. A wave of grief and pain that he had never felt before filled his body like a tide. He let out a roar towards the sky, but he couldn't release any of the grief in his heart. Right at this moment, the environment around him instantly changed once more. At this moment, he was within an enormous gorge, and an unprecedented feeling of grief, indignation, and intense pain in his heart spread throughout his body like tidewater. He roared furiously towards the sky, yet he was unable to vent the slightest bit of grief in his heart. People of the Ting family, as long as I, Wang Lin, have the slightest chance of survival, one day I will make the blood of your entire Ting family flow like a river and dye the country of Zhao red. I will annihilate the entire Ting family and leave no one alive. If I break this oath, then let me, Wang Lin, be hacked into 1,000 pieces, die a horrible death, and sink into hell for all eternity. Wang Lin seemed to have gone mad. Endless sorrow drowned him, and his pain was unbearable. As he knelt on the ground, Wang Lin's eyes were filled with tears. His eyes were bloodshot, revealing a madness that did not seem to belong to a human. His hair turned white overnight. It was as if winter had fallen around him. An indescribable extreme force was born inside his body. This kind of power did not belong to a mortal, but at this moment, it was possessed by Wang Lin. This was the pinnacle of killing in this world, the limit of power. Its name was Ji. The moment the Ji realm was born, the miserable screams echoed in Wang Lin's ears once more, and he was filled with disbelief. Ji. It's actually Ji. What has this person experienced in his life? Ji actually appeared. The heaven-defying bead is in his hands, the Ji power is also in his hands, this person. The panicked and shocked voice became clearer and clearer. In the end, it echoed across the world, causing the sky to collapse and the earth to collapse. Everything was pushed back by the 7-colored light. Let's write the second chapter and let the monthly votes fly for a while. Chapter 12-15. As the world collapsed, Wang Lin still knelt there. It was as if the world collapsing before him couldn't attract his attention at all. Thunderous rumbles continued to echo. After a long time, Wang Lin raised his head. Tears were still on his face, but his eyes were clear. This is the 7-colored realm. You forced me to remember the painful past. I want you to pay the price of death. Wang Lin's voice was very soft, but each word was filled with monstrous, killing intent. The moment his voice echoed, the thunderous rumbles became even more intense and completely collapsed. The sky was torn apart and was no longer blue. What replaced it was the sky of the 7-colored realm. The earth trembled and collapsed layer by layer. What appeared was ruins that looked like a sea of fire. This became the land of the 7-colored realm. Before Wang Lin, the white-haired old man's chest was dyed red with blood. Blood was still flowing out from the corner of his mouth. His pupils were dilated, filled with disbelief, and filled with shock. In truth, when he used the Tao spell and saw the heaven-defying bead in Wang Lin's memory, his Tao spell had collapsed and his vitality was extinguished. The shock in his heart was like millions of thunderbolts exploding in his ears. He was filled with inexplicable fear and panic. Then, as his Tao spell collapsed, he saw the scene of Wang Lin using the Ji realm. He immediately coughed out blood and his body weakened. He seemed to have lost the ability to think. This battle had become a battle between Dao Spell and the G realm, a battle between Dao Spell and the heaven-defying bead. He had no chance of winning at all. Wang Lin raised his head and let out those monstrous killing intent. He immediately charged out like lightning toward the old man. His 2 fingers formed a sword and he pointed between the old man's eyebrows. The old man's body trembled violently. Blood flowed out from the back of his head and his skull shattered. Wang Lin didn't stop and pointed once more. This time, he pointed 6 times in a row. The sounds of explosions were earth-shattering. The old man's arms collapsed and turned into flesh and blood. His legs collapsed and fell to the ground. His body exploded and turned into a mist of blood. Inside the fog, his origin soul screamed. Immediately, a 7-colored light surrounded him as he fled into the distance. Wang Lin's face was filled with killing intent as he chased after the old man. As he chased, his right hand quickly pointed forward. Every time he pointed, the 7-colored light would tremble violently. The old man's origin soul would scream and become weaker and weaker. It had been a very long time since Wang Lin had such a crazed desire to kill someone. Anyone who reminded him of his past had offended his reverse scale, and they had to die. Under the pursuit, the origin soul of the old man surrounded by the 7-colored light fled toward the mountain. At this moment, his heart was filled with panic and he was constantly shouting in his heart, "Venerable One, save me! Venerable, save me!" Freeze! The madness in Wang Lin's eyes became even stronger and he waved his right hand. The 7-colored light paused for a moment, and during this pause, Wang Lin charged out. His finger stabbed into the 7-colored light and landed on the white-haired old man's origin soul. There was a thunderous bang and the old man's origin soul almost collapsed. However, he was, after all, a late-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivator. Although he was seriously injured, he didn't die. Instead, he struggled to escape even faster. As he chased, Wang Lin let out a roar and the blue fire in his left eye flashed. The heaven-sealing rune trembled as it appeared, but in the end it collapsed under the impact of the blue fire. After the seal dissipated, Wang Lin was surrounded by a sea of fire. He pointed forward and the monstrous fire shot toward the white-haired old man's origin soul that was surrounded by the 7-colored light. A miserable scream echoed once more. This time, the white-haired old man's origin soul was extremely weak. 4 of the 7-colored light around him dissipated. Both of them were extremely fast, but the distance between them was getting closer and closer. Just at this moment, the thunder mark appeared in Wang Lin's right eye, and there was also a heaven-sealing rune on it. However, this rune only struggled for a few breaths of time before shattering. Without the seal on it, the thunder rushed out and danced in the sea of fire. The world rumbled and endless thunder roared. Under the control of Wang Lin's mind, it charged at the old man's origin soul. With a deafening rumble, the remaining 3 rays of light around the old man's soul immediately collapsed, turning into countless specks of light that tumbled backwards. Without any protection, the soul was completely exposed to the blue flames and the lightning that filled the sky. "No! Venerable One, save me!" The old man's eyes were filled with the fear of death and his origin soul let out a roar. At this moment, he had already flown to the mountain in the depths of the 7-colored realm. However, just as he got close, Wang Lin let out a roar filled with killing intent. The blue fire shot out and caught up to the old man's origin soul and firmly surrounded it. From afar, the old man's figure could no longer be seen. There was only a sea of blue flames. At the same time, thunder rumbled in the sky from all directions. It was as if all the thunder in the world had gathered together and was closing in on the old man's origin soul in the sea of flames. The moment all the thunderbolts charged out, the sea of fire in the world suddenly shrank and gathered around the trapped old man. All of this happened in a flash. It was unbelievably fast. The sea of fire suddenly shrank and returned to one point. There was also the gathering of thunder and thunder, the attack of thunder and fire condensed together. This was the shrinking of two circles. One was the sea of blue fire and the other was the thunder of the world. When the two circles overlapped, the world trembled. A heaven-shaking rumble replaced all sound and caused the seven-colored realm to collapse once more. The miserable screams were ear-piercing and dissipated as the rumble echoed. A pillar of blue fire shot into the sky as if it was supporting the heavens. Inside and outside the blue fire, there were countless bolts of thunder that overlapped with the pillar of fire and also shot into the sky. This scene could be clearly seen anywhere in the seven-colored realm. Inside the seven-colored realm, Chen Tianjuan's ears were filled with the thunderous rumble. His body trembled and his origin's soul trembled. Shock mixed with fear filled his body and wouldn't dissipate for a long time. He stared dumbfoundedly at the pillar of thunder and fire in the distance. His mouth was dry and his face was pale. Killing a late-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivator. This person's name will become famous in the Cloud Sea. To be able to witness his spell is an honor for me, Chen Tianjun. In the distance, the old woman in green's face was pale as she stared at the pillar of thunder and fire. Her eyes were filled with fear. With her cultivation level, she clearly felt what had just happened. She knew that if she had to face either one of them, she would without a doubt die. While her mind was shaken, she couldn't help but feel fear. When she thought about how they were enemies, her heart skipped a beat. There was no cultivator who didn't cherish life, and she was no exception. I have to make friends with this person as soon as possible to make up for the conflict from before. Otherwise, there will be no place for me in the Cloud Sea to be enemies with someone like him. Fortunately, the conflict isn't deep and there is no direct hatred. The old woman in green took a deep breath and made up her mind. Even further away, Master Cloud Soul had a bitter expression. He had clearly felt the battle just now, and his heart was filled with complex emotions. There was panic in his heart, and this panic became even stronger. It was as if a fire was burning his mind. How could he be so strong? Even now, Master Cloud Soul still couldn't believe it and fear appeared in his heart. When he was sent into the valley, he had been living in fear every day. He clenched his teeth at Wang Lin and wished he could devour his flesh and blood. However, now that he had experienced the battle, he was shocked and couldn't accept this fact. After pondering for a bit, Master Cloud Soul revealed a bitter smile and killing intent filled his eyes. This person will not let me go, and he must have been seriously injured during his battle with that late-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivator. As a result, I still have a chance. If he recovers his cultivation, I will without a doubt die in the seven-colored realm. However, if I fight him while he is seriously injured, I have a chance of winning. Once I kill this person, everything in the seven-colored realm will belong to me, Master Cloud Soul. Master Cloud Soul's heart skipped a beat. Before entering the seven-colored realm, he was confident he could kill Wang Lin. However, now that he was facing Wang Lin, who he thought was injured, he felt as if he was a mortal trying to kill a celestial. This change was enough to show the fear Master Cloud Soul felt toward Wang Lin. Clenching his teeth, Master Cloud Soul charged forward. The pillar of thunder and fire slowly dissipated, and the origin soul of the white-haired old man disappeared. He was completely destroyed. Even after he died, the sovereign he spoke of didn't appear. Looking at the mountain before him, Wang Lin silently pondered. Once the thunder and fire dissipated and all sound disappeared, waves of mournful cries came from the top of the mountain. Those painful cries were the unwilling roars of death, but in the end, they couldn't escape the choice of fate. Wang Lin could vaguely feel the battle mark in his body tremble. It was as if there was something on the mountain that excited him. After a long time, Wang Lin raised his foot and walked forward. He wasn't fast as he slowly walked up the mountain and arrived outside the cave. Standing here was like standing at the highest point of the seven-colored realm. At a glance, the entire seven-colored realm seemed to be shrouded in his eyes. From this position, the mournful cries from the cave were even more clear, as if there were countless people inside facing unbearable pain. At this moment, in the ancient star system, in the palace floating among the stars, the candlelight was burning. The old and withered finger slowly withdrew. An ancient voice slowly came from behind the candlelight. The fire is ready. However, this fire is not suitable for planting Tao, because it hasn't boiled the soul yet. An indifferent voice echoed. A fake Sealing Extermination clan member died. Do you not doubt the cause of his death at all? Why should I doubt? After planting Tao, I'll know all the answers. This way, it will be more interesting. The unknown is the most wonderful taste in this world. Waiting is the most eternal aftertaste in this world. Then let the fire go crazy first. His ears were going crazy and his fingers were trembling, but he still firmly wrote. He was writing the third chapter. Chapter 12:16. Looking at the hole, Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly. He stepped forward and got closer and closer to the hole. However, just as he was within 10 feet of the entrance, a giant vortex appeared in the sky of the seven-colored realm. This vortex howled and let out a strange sound. When it landed in one's ears, it would disturb one's mind and cause an invisible fire to appear in one's heart. Wang Lin's body trembled violently, and he suddenly looked up at the vortex that suddenly appeared in the sky. His gaze seemed to penetrate the vortex and see a star system and an indescribable temple in the star system. His gaze stopped here and a feeling of madness appeared in Wang Lin's heart. This feeling was extremely strange, but he couldn't stop it. At this moment, the seven-colored light in the seven-colored realm became even more intense. The seven-colored light in the world actually charged at Wang Lin. It was as if Wang Lin's body had become the source of the seven-colored realm. It attracted the endless seven-colored light and continued to enter his body. In just a few breaths of time, the seven-colored light in the seven-colored realm was dazzling and quickly closed in. There was too much light. As it poured in endlessly, Wang Lin's body remained motionless. His mind was firmly grasped by an indescribable force, making it impossible for him to control his body. This caused the seven-colored light to charge at his body. More and more seven-colored light gradually appeared. In the end, it was as if all the seven-colored light in the seven-colored realm had arrived. There was no light outside the seven-colored realm, only darkness. If one looked from above, they would clearly see that the seven-colored realm was like a giant circle. All the seven-colored light was shrinking toward Wang Lin. The madness in Wang Lin's body became even more intense as the seven-colored light poured in. In the end, it formed a seven-colored ocean that completely submerged his mind. What replaced it was endless madness. It was just as crazy as Shimizu in the past. This kind of madness caused Wang Lin's expression to become distorted. The veins on his face swelled and his eyes became blood-red. He let out a heaven-shaking roar. This roar was like the roar of a fierce beast. It echoed across the world and turned into thunder that rumbled in all directions. More and more seven-colored light entered Wang Lin's body. His body trembled and he wanted to struggle, but the madness in his mind made it so he couldn't break free. Instead, the more he struggled, the more intense the madness became. Roars continued to come from his mouth. In this short period of time, Wang Lin's clothes were soaked in sweat. His hair moved without any wind and his eyes became more and more red. Wang Lin had gone crazy. He lost his mind, lost his consciousness, and lost all his memories. The world in front of him instantly turned the color of blood. The only thought in his mind was kill, 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 kill. Kill all living beings, kill all the heavens and earth. A sense of brutality appeared in his heart. At this moment, even if Li Muan was before him, he wouldn't hesitate to kill her. The feeling of madness completely suppressed Wang Lin's mind. He was like a killing beast, and as his killing intent increased, the feeling of madness became even stronger. At this moment, 70% of the seven-colored light had entered Wang Lin's body. More than half of the seven-colored realm had turned into darkness. Roar. As Wang Lin roared, his expression was terrifying enough to shock anyone who knew him. At this moment, as he continued to merge with the seven-colored light, he had sunk into eternal slaughter. His body was filled with an unimaginable amount of origin energy. He could no longer feel the intense pain. The only thing that existed was to kill. The fire in his left eye spread out and surrounded his body. Thunder came from his right eye and moved through his body. Even the mountain he was on trembled violently. The seven-colored light didn't stop and closed in like crazy. The world gradually darkened at a speed visible to the naked eye. In an instant, the seven-colored realm became completely dark without any light. All of the light was absorbed into Wang Lin's body and became the source that made him go crazy. The moment there was no light left in the seven-colored realm, Wang Lin let out a crazy roar. His eyes were red and he wanted to destroy everything, including himself. This is the most beautiful flame in the world. Its name is the flame of anger. Bring your anger, bring your madness, and boil your soul to help me plant my Tao and add one last Tao will. I really want to know if you can burn my finger. Can you? An ancient voice slowly came from the vortex in the dark sky. It seemed to have cut off time and space, and when it came to him, it was filled with the marks of time. Wang Lin had already lost consciousness and his body fell to the ground. His origin soul, his soul, and everything else besides his body turned into a ray of red light and charged out of his body. It seemed to be burning as it charged toward the entrance of the cave. Inside this cave was a huge area of magma. Many bumps were popping out of the magma, emitting bursts of pitch-black gas. There were countless iron chains in the surroundings, and on top of each iron chain, there was a dried-up skeleton. There were also countless jade scrolls floating in the surroundings, each of which contained a boundless Tao intent sealed within them. The wailing sound came from the jade slip. The magma wasn't deep, and one could vaguely see the bottom of the magma. There were countless runes carved into the magma, and every time the light flickered, the surrounding jades would release a large amount of Tao intent into the magma and be absorbed by the runes. At the same time, drops of black liquid dripped down from the corpses hanging in the air and into the magma, causing it to boil. The moment Wang Lin charged in, all of the jades in the cave collapsed. Endless Tao intent flew out from them and fused with the magma. At the same time, the corpses hanging on the chains exploded into a large amount of black liquid that fused with the magma. In an instant, more bulges appeared on the magma. Thunderous rumbles echoed as the magma began to rotate. The runes inside the magma began to melt, forming an unimaginable suction force that devoured Wang Lin the moment he entered the cave. The magma rotated faster and faster. In just a moment, it seemed to penetrate the cave and connect to a star system. This was a boundless star system with countless stars forming a giant formation. This formation was the size of the Alliance star system. Every star was part of this formation, and at the center of the formation were 7 flower-like plants. These 7 plants were of different colors, but together, they formed a 7-colored formation. They weren't large, only 1,000 feet wide. Compared to this vast star system, they were insignificant. However, the existence of this starry sky was because of these 7 plants. The entire starry sky and the array formation in this starry sky all existed to provide nutrients for these 7 plants. Using the power of the star system, the power of countless planets, and the power of countless cracks like the 7-colored realm to absorb the boundless Tao intent and turn it into nutrients to nourish these 7 plants. This allowed them to continue to grow until they bloomed and bore fruit. The star field here wasn't an independent existence. Someone had used a powerful spell to create this star field around the sealed realm formation and fused with it. This caused every cultivator that died in the sealed realm to have their Tao intent sucked into the formation and become nutrients for this star field. This was planting Tao. After an unknown amount of time, it continued to absorb the Tao intents of the people of the sealed realm, who died one by one. In the era of the ancient celestials, there was no domain, so this formation used the laws of the world of the celestials as nutrient. In ancient times, there was no law, so this formation absorbed the essences of the ancient cultivators as nutrients. By using this method to nourish these 7 plants, they would be able to give birth to Tao fruits. Currently, one of the 7 plants was crimson, and inside of it sat a corpse cross-legged. There were countless scriptures engraved on this skeleton, and it gave off a faint, black light that was quickly absorbed by the plant. This crimson-red plant had beautiful flowers that looked like blood. However, most of the petals had fallen off, leaving only a few. When all the petals fell off, it would be the time for the crimson-red plant to bear fruit. Just at this moment, a rift appeared next to the plant. A ray of red light came out from the rift and went into the flower. Wang Lin's soul and origin soul were inside the red light. They were sucked into the plant and appeared next to the skeleton. The plant seemed to have absorbed the last bit of nutrients as all its petals fell off. The center of the flower began to squirm in a strange manner. Gradually, a scarlet-red fruit began to slowly form. Time slowly passed. It was unknown how much time had passed, but it felt like an eternity. The rift outside the plant gradually shrank, as if it was about to dissipate. The Wang Lin inside the plant had already dissipated, and the place he was in was filled with red liquid. The skeleton beside him gradually dissipated as well. It turned into a golden-purple light and became part of the red liquid. Time passed. 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years. It felt like a very, very long time had passed. The red liquid became less and less, all of it becoming nutrients to nourish the fruit. As the red liquid decreased, the fruit gradually grew. It was as if it was made of blood. A total of 98 years passed. You once asked me if I would burn my finger after the fire burned. Now I can answer you. I won't. An ancient voice echoed in the star domain. The 7-colored flower is about to bear a fruit. The fruits of the other 6 plants are not far away. The old man was persuaded by the sovereign to not face the void turbulent realm and instead chose to end his cultivation. He didn't search for the existence of the 4th step and was willing to become a flower farmer for the crimson-red plant. He was hoping that his plan would succeed one day. Now, it seems like it is not far away. Will anyone send me a bottle of Red Bull or Botox? Will anyone give me a monthly vote? I'm so tired right now, but I'm still clenching my teeth and holding on. There aren't many votes today, so I'm going to write the 4th chapter. Chapter 12-17. Including the time Wang Lin had spent in the 7-colored realm, 99 years had passed. During these 99 years, a heaven-shaking change had occurred in the Alliance star system. The 4 divine sect had swept through the remaining sects of the Alliance in one fell swoop. They had also forced Serene to act and fight against the Luo Tian army. Serene originally had no intention of participating and wanted to be the fisherman that reaped the benefits. In particular, they were between the Luo Tian and the 4 divine sect. If either side wanted to win, they would need Serene's help. Serene didn't care that the Luo Tian wasn't someone from the brilliant void but an invader. What they cared about was the large amount of bodies that the war would bring. Serene even hoped that the war would continue forever without an end. However, all of this was completely destroyed by one person, and that person was the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor. He had entered the Serene star system by himself and killed countless Serene elders. He had also seriously injured several of the remaining kings of the Serene star system and forced the sect master, who had been in closed-door cultivation for many years, to act. The battle between the two of them had shocked the entire star system. In the end, the number 1 king of the Serene star system was completely defeated. If it wasn't for the fact that the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor had other goals, It wouldn't have been difficult to kill him. This battle shocked Serene. He completely understood how powerful the Four Divine Sect was, and he felt a fear he had never felt before toward the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor. The Corpse Sect had no choice but to obey the orders of the Four Divine Sect and join them in the war against all heaven. This was a war between the Rain and Cloud star system. During this war, the Tuos Sun awakened, broke through the formation, and walked out from the Suzaku. His appearance immediately shocked the Luotian star system. The Tuos Sun acted according to his mood. The moment he appeared, some Luotian cultivators provoked him. He charged into the battlefield and killed tens of thousands of Luotian cultivators. After killing them, the Tuos Sun coldly left and only left one sentence. All of you are too weak. None of the Luotian cultivators dared to chase, including the hidden master Lu Fu. Terrified, he escaped from the Alliance star system and didn't dare to take half a step back. Fortunately, after the Tuos Sun appeared, he didn't stay in the Alliance star system for long. He first went to the Four Divine Sect and used his ancient god power to seriously injure the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor. He also destroyed the Four Divine Sect's star system and caused countless spatial rifts in the eastern region. From then on, no one could enter. However, the Tuos Sun didn't kill the Azure Divine Emperor. He also said, "You are too weak." As for the place where the Vermilion Bird Holy Sect was located, that eternal flame, after the Tuos Sun saw it, he waved his hand and the flame was completely extinguished. This flame looks dazzling. None of the members of the Rosefinch Divine Sect dared to say anything. Then the Tuos Sun left and went to the Brilliant Void. He battled with the old man and sealed him between his eyebrows. Then the god-slaying spear caused the entire Brilliant Void to collapse. The Brilliant Void's sacred ground that had existed for countless years was gone from now on. It became an eternal memory. Mu Bingmei's body collapsed in this battle and her origin soul was seriously injured. The Tuos Sun was disdainful to chase after her, so he left a mark on her body and let her go. Shortly after, the Serene army was also implicated by the anger of the Tuos Sun not being able to find Wang Lin. After countless deaths and injuries, the Tuos Sun left. The last place the Tuos Sun went was the sealed Rain Celestial Realm. Facing the Rain Celestial Realm's sealing formation, the Tuos Sun's expression became serious for the first time, but his arrogance became even stronger. Just as he was about to attack, Qing Lin appeared outside the Rain Celestial Realm. It was unknown what they talked about, but after that, the Tuos Sun silently pondered for a long time before nodding and leaving. He disappeared from the Alliance star system along with all the controlled ancient cultivators. He was in a daze looking for the person he had to devour. However, that person seemed to have disappeared from the world. No matter how hard the Tuos Sun tried, he couldn't detect the slightest aura. The appearance of the Tuos Sun caused the situation in the Alliance star system to change greatly. At this moment, everything became quiet. The Luotian cultivators all retreated and left the Alliance star system because of the Tuos Senator. This war that had lasted for hundreds of years ended because of the Tuos Sun alone. Only a roar that shook the entire star system echoed before the Tuos Sun left. "Wang Lin, where the hell are you?" The same words came from the Origin sect on the continent of Mo Luo. Lu Yanfei softly said those words. "Senior, where are you? There is still 1 year until the competition between the main sects. Can you come back?" In the Cloud Sea, the Purple Dao sect had developed rapidly over the past 100 years and had become one of the top 6 sects in the Rank 5 region. However, the sect master of the Purple Dao sect, Lu Yunsong, would often stare at the stars as if he was recalling something. Only the old man that had been following him occasionally heard Lu Yunsong's mutter. "Brother Lu, when I sparred with you in the past, I benefited greatly. But now that 100 years have passed, why haven't I heard any signs of you with your brilliance? My cultivation has already increased. If we meet again, I would like to spar with you. Similarly, in the rank 9 region, in the depths of the fog where the demon sect was located, the blue-haired Li Qianmei was calmly killing fierce beasts one by one. The cultivators who had come with her in the past were all in awe of this blue-haired woman, but at the same time, there were many cultivators who secretly admired her. There were many cultivators here, and many of them were very famous. In particular, as the beast tides continued, the number of people that stood out increased exponentially. Over the past 100 years, many cultivators had died in battle during the daily slaughter and resistance against the beast tide. This kind of thing happened almost every day. As time passed, the beast tides became even more intense, and even more rank 12 beasts appeared. There were even Sure San rank beasts. Every time a Sure San rank beast appeared, it was a catastrophe for cultivators. The people of the demon sect also appeared on the battlefield. They were the main force, and very few of the people sent by the other sects were recognized by the demon sect. In the eyes of the demon sect, these people were only there to distract the remaining force of the fierce beast. However, during these 100 years, there were 4 people that were recognized by the demon sect, and Li Qianmei was one of them. Almost all of the cultivators knew that Li Qianmei had a magical treasure on her. It was a golden brush, and when it drew with this brush, it could draw runes with great power. However, even the people of the demon sect who wanted to borrow the pen were all rejected by Li Qianmei. Her usually calm personality seemed to reveal an unprecedented determination at this moment. There was one time when Li Qianmei was surrounded by several rank 12 beasts and was seriously injured. She lost the golden pen on the battlefield and was saved by the people of the demon sect. A moment later, she awakened with serious injuries and ignored everyone's advice. She bit her lower lip and charged out again just to retrieve the golden pen. From then on, all the cultivators here knew that the golden pen was Li Qianmei's most precious thing. Where are you now? It has been almost 100 years. At this moment, Li Qianmei was sitting on a simple cultivation platform. Her face was pale and she was obviously injured. Large amounts of fierce beasts roared in the fog before her, but they were being resisted by countless cultivators. She seemed to have forgotten about the slaughter on the battlefield and couldn't hear the roars of the fierce beasts. She raised her head and looked into the distance. In the cloud sea there was a wild continent in the fog. Mu Bingmei's origin soul had used the brilliant void spell to break through the barrier and escape here. She was slowly condensing her body. When she was seriously injured by Tuo Sun and her body collapsed, for some reason, the only thing in her mind was to see Wang Lin one more time. Wang Lin, I wonder if you're doing well. In a cave on the wild continent, Mu Bingmei slowly opened her beautiful eyes and stared ahead. A sense of loneliness she had never felt before filled her heart. She felt very cold as she silently cultivated by herself in a foreign land. This coldness surrounded her body, and the cold wind outside the cave howled. Hearing this sound, Mu Bingmei became even colder. At this moment, after there was no more light in the 7-colored realm, it was completely dark for 100 years. A mysterious force shrouded the mountain where Wang Lin's origin soul and soul dissipated, making it so outsiders couldn't enter. Master Cloud's soul had tried to break in but failed. He could only find a cave nearby and silently look at the dark world outside for 100 years. Chen Tianjun and the old woman in green were also inside the 7-colored realm, feeling the passage of time in the darkness. At the top of the mountain shrouded by the mysterious force, there was a corpse lying there motionlessly. This was Wang Lin's body. Although 100 years had passed, his ancient god body hadn't decayed at all. It maintained its appearance from 100 years ago, but it was covered in dust. If this world wasn't divided into the inner realm and the outer realm, then in a strange star system that existed to nourish the 7-colored flower, the fruit on the red plant gradually grew to a size of several dozen feet. Just as it was about to ripen, one day, a remnant of consciousness appeared inside the fruit. This remnant of consciousness seemed to absorb the mysterious power inside the fruit, and it gradually grew until it became a bead. The moment the bead appeared, Wang Lin felt like he had just woken up from a dream and slowly awakened. Due to the appearance of the heaven-defying bead, no one noticed his awakening. Not even the person growing the flowers noticed the shocking change inside the fruit. This change was enough to make the world tremble, enough to change the trajectory of everything in the world, whether it was the inner or outer realms. The flower grower said that his fingers wouldn't be burned by the fire. He was very confident. However, how long would this confidence last? Will it? It will. This person had reached his limit. He had written 4 chapters for 3 days in a row. In 3 days, he had written 36,000 words. The price was unspeakable pain. He didn't know if he could continue writing 4 chapters. He was already very, very tired. Chapter 12:18. At a glance, the vast space was filled with bright nebulae. As they flashed, they created a magnificent scene. It was as if they had existed for an eternity, and it was impossible to tell how much time had passed. The star system was completely silent. It was as if all sounds were drowned out by the darkness and scattered far away. There was an abandoned planet in the distance. There was no light coming from it, and it was surrounded by a lifeless death aura. It was like an old man struggling to breathe, and the air he exhaled was filled with a thick death aura. There was a person sitting on this abandoned planet. Any cultivator who saw this scene would be shocked, and their mind would go blank. They would think that there was something wrong with their eyes and that they were seeing things that they couldn't even imagine in their dreams. This person's body was the size of several planets. He had a gloomy expression as he sat on the planet and looked into the distance as if he was thinking. His skin was rough, and there were countless cracks on it. They were like marks that gave off a strange light. One could clearly sense traces of time on his body. It was as if this person had lived as long as the heavens and earth. He had lived for far, far too long in this starry sky, so long that even he himself could not remember exactly how long he had lived. His majestic body was just calmly sitting on the abandoned planet, but an indescribable pressure spread out and covered the entire star system. All the living beings in the star system trembled in fear. This was the Luotian star system. All the cultivators in the Luotian star system felt fear in their hearts. The trembling in their souls was a nervousness and fear that they couldn't stop no matter what. There were also some wild beasts that didn't dare to move under this aura. They all lay on the ground, as if with just one thought from this person, they would turn their bodies into blood and be sacrificed. This person was like a god. Between his eyebrows, there were 8 stars orbiting around him. However, only 4 of them were bright. The other 4 were pitch black, as if they had withered up. However, they had not dissipated. He was like the strongest expert of this starfield, the former ruler. After awakening, he looked at the world, and after a long time, the gloominess in his eyes was replaced by confusion. There's no aura of him in the rain world. There's no aura of him in the thunder world. There's no aura of him in the lightning world. Where is he? The majestic giant raised its head with a ferocious expression and let out an earth-shattering roar that shocked the entire star field. As he roared, the starry sky trembled violently. The wild planet beneath him suddenly collapsed, forming a storm that swept out in all directions. It also affected the origin energy of the world, causing a shocking change. The collapse of the desolate star tore open countless spatial rifts. Cold wind blew out from the rifts, but it didn't affect the giant at all. He continued to roar. Following his roar, many of the wild beasts in the Luotian starfield exploded into a mist of blood. Many of the cultivators trembled and coughed up mouthfuls of blood. They were either seriously injured or killed. As he roared, an invisible sound wave spread out and filled the starfield. Any planet that was affected by it would tremble. A moment later, when the roar ended, the abandoned planet exploded. Tuasen stood up and walked into the distance. The barrier of the 4 celestial realms was insignificant to him. It was as if nothing in this world could stop him. His pace wasn't fast, but his body was too big, so each step he took was boundless. After a few steps, a giant vortex appeared before him. Inside the vortex was a star field filled with fog. That was the Cloud Sea. As he stepped toward the vortex, Tuo Sen's giant body disappeared from the Luotian starfield, and he stepped into the Cloud Sea. The moment he entered the Cloud Sea, all the cultivators from the rank 1 to rank 9 sects in the Cloud Sea felt an aura that made their minds tremble. Even the fierce beasts inside the fog trembled and retreated. They didn't dare to get close at all. Even the beast tide in the rank 9 region revealed fear and retreated like crazy. This caused a rare moment of emptiness to appear in this battle that had lasted for 100 years. An indescribable divine sense swept across the Cloud Sea star system like a storm. All the fog was pushed back as if it was going to tremble before this divine sense. At the same time, several divine senses charged out from the rank 9 region and mercilessly smashed into Tuo Sen's divine sense. It was soundless, but it could be heard in one's mind. It was as if the entire world had exploded at the same time, and it spread wildly in the sea of clouds. If it was before, with Tuo Sen's personality, he would have started a slaughter, but right now his eyes narrowed. He had searched the 4 major star systems and hadn't found any aura from Wang Lin. However, he knew that Wang Lin wasn't dead, or else he would have felt the inheritance of memories that had dissipated. The 4 major star systems don't have his aura, then there is only one possibility. Tuo Sen took a step forward and the Cloud Sea trembled. Ripples echoed and a large amount of spatial rifts appeared before him and collapsed. Tuo Sen's body sank into the spatial rift and disappeared. After he disappeared, those divine senses arrived with shock. After searching for a while, they all left. On this day, aside from a few old monsters and a few people, no one else knew the reason for the shocking change in the Cloud Sea. There was a void below the 4 major star systems. This was where the realm sealing formation was located. Once one broke through this place, they could enter the outer realm and enter the ancient star system. Tuo Sen appeared in this void and looked into the distance. His expression became even more gloomy. His divine sense had spread out and he couldn't feel Wang Lin's aura at all. Ancient star system, Tuo Sen silently pondered. His memories were incomplete, but from the memories he had obtained, he knew of the existence of the ancient star system. He also vaguely remembered that 2C came from there. At that time, there was no realm sealing formation. In a blur, his gaze seemed to be able to penetrate the realm sealing formation and see the outside world. He saw his familiar hometown. He had searched everywhere but couldn't find Wang Lin's aura. Then there was only one possibility. Wang Lin was in the ancient star system. There was a flash of coldness in Tuo Sen's eyes. He was determined to obtain Wang Lin. Only by devouring Wang Lin would he be complete. Even if you hide in the ancient star system, this god will devour you. There is no place in this world where you can escape. Tuo Sen's right hand clenched into a fist and his large body took a step forward. Countless ripples appeared in the void, and a dense cobweb-like sealing formation appeared under the ripples. The moment the cobweb-like formation appeared, Tuo Sen's right fist flew out. This was a real punch from an ancient god, a punch from a royal ancient god. As the giant fist closed in, it landed on the formation that sealed the inner and outer realms. He, Tuo Sen, was trying to break the formation by himself. The moment his fist landed, the entire void trembled and a heaven-shaking rumble echoed in the air. A large amount of ripples spread out with his body as the center, and the entire void was covered in ripples. The ripples created layers of void, and when they passed by, the entire void changed greatly. This was no longer the void, but a giant formation that sealed the entire inner realm. Even Tuo Sen was the size of a mortal before this formation. The size of this formation was indescribable. At a glance, one couldn't see the end, only the faint, seven-colored light coming from the formation. After Tuo Sen's fist landed, a thunderous rumble echoed. The formation didn't move at all, but a shocking rebound force came from it and collided with Tuo Sen's fist. As the thunderous rumble echoed, even someone as strong as Tuo Sen had to retreat. Tuo Sen's expression was ferocious as he stared at the formation. As a royal ancient god, he had his pride. There was unexpectedly a formation that could stop him from moving forward. With a roar, Tuo Sen rushed out once more. His fist was like a meteor, and he collided violently with the formation by himself. The entire formation trembled, but it still didn't collapse. No matter how much Tuo Sen attacked, it still locked down the inner realm and didn't allow anyone to take half a step out. What happened to the realm-sealing formation immediately alarmed the people guarding the formation, and they all rushed over. However, before they arrived, the formation had reached the requirement for a formation spirit to automatically appear due to the amount of attacks it was enduring. A ray of light immediately condensed from the formation. This light was silver-white and looked like lightning. In the blink of an eye, a spear appeared. This spear was surrounded by endless lightning and rumbled as it shot toward Tuo Senator. It was too fast, and it gave off a thunderous roar as it closed in on Tuo Senator. At that instant, Tuo Sen suddenly turned around and raised his right hand like lightning. With a wave of his hand, a vast amount of ancient god power shot out and collided with the spear. There was a thunderous bang and the spear suddenly collapsed. However, it reformed once more and stabbed into Tuo Sen's right arm with an even more powerful aura than before. At the instant it landed, a thick bolt of lightning shot out from where the long spear had pierced. It spread like crazy towards Tuo Sen's huge body, and as it spread, thunder rumbled. It was like a net of lightning that locked down Tuo Senator. Shortly after, the formation that sealed the inner realm condensed light once more. This light was blue and a short blue sword appeared. It gave off a monstrous sword energy and coldness as it shot toward Tuo Senator. Yesterday, someone said that it was about to end. Do you all want me to end it? If you don't want it to end, then you'll have to wait at least half a year. Chapter 12:19. Tuo Sen's eyes lit up. His right hand, surrounded by lightning, reached toward the sky. Immediately, there was a rumble and a huge crack appeared in the sky. The god-slaying spear appeared. After grabbing the god-slaying spear, Tuo Sen let out a roar and waved it. An aura that could cause the world to tremble appeared and collided with the blue sword. Banging sounds immediately echoed in the surroundings. The blue sword suddenly collapsed and turned into countless fragments, but it did not dissipate. Instead, it charged at Tuo Senator. At the same time, the formation shined brightly once more. This time there were 3 different lights. One of them was golden and shrouded the formation. The golden light suddenly condensed into a giant, golden blade. This blade was more than 1,000 feet long and automatically flew toward Tuo Senator. The second ray of light was purple. After the golden light, it seemed to condense from the heavens. It formed a purple whip that was more than 10,000 feet long. There were countless runes on the whip, and the moment it appeared, the formation began to distort. Cracking sounds echoed as the whip lashed toward Tuo Sen like a python. The third ray of light was red and looked like blood. This caused the entire formation to be bathed in a blood-red light. Howls of pain and anguish echoed across the world. As the red light condensed, a 9-headed meteor hammer appeared. Blood dripped from the 9 heads. Clearly, this spirit artifact was extremely cruel. It had been stained with the blood of countless people over the countless years. As soon as it appeared, it swept through the air, transforming into a 30,000-foot-long hammer that shot toward Tuo Senator. There was a total of 9 spirits in the sealed realm, and at this moment, 5 spirits had appeared and charged at Tuo Sen. Tuo Sen's expression was extremely solemn. He swept the god-slaying spear in his hand and waved his left hand in the air. Immediately, moonlight filled his left arm. A crescent moon blade appeared in front of him and began to attack the spirit of the array. The rumbling sounds caused the void to seem as if it was about to collapse, but the formation still showed no signs of breaking. Tuo Sen's roars shook the heavens and the earth as he engaged in a frenzied battle with the 5-weaponed spirits. Just at this moment, there was no light from the formation, but a heat wave came. As the heat wave appeared, a giant hundreds of thousands of feet tall appeared above the realm's ceiling formation. This was an object that was filled with an ancient aura and the marks of time. However, it was extremely malevolent, and it could shake the mind of anyone who laid eyes on it. It was a gigantic catapult. There was a cluster of flames on it. This flame did not have any color and could not be seen with the naked eye. However, one's mind could clearly sense the unimaginable heat from it. With a boom, the catapult hurled the fireball straight at Tuo Sr. If it was just a fireball, it wouldn't be a big deal. However, almost as soon as the catapult threw out the fireball, a surge of energy immediately gathered from the array formation between the heavens and the earth, turning it into a ball of fire that continued to be thrown out. Over the countless years, the number of people from the sealed realm that had died to this formation was unimaginable. With the 6 spirits attacking at the same time, even Tuo Sen was at a disadvantage. As the 6 spirits attacked at the same time, there was a thunderous rumble. For the first time, Tuo Sen retreated. He had to retreat, and there was a hint of disbelief in his eyes. However, his ferociousness became even stronger. What a powerful formation! Unless I devour Wang Lin and become a real 8-star royal ancient god, I'll have some chance of breaking this formation. This formation not only seals the inner realm cultivators, but also my ancient god clan. However, I can vaguely feel a trace of Wang Lin's aura. This Wang Lin must be in the ancient star system outside the formation. No matter what, I have to break this formation. Tuo Sen's eyes shined red and he pointed to the spot between his eyebrows. His third eyebrow shined brightly like never before. The aura of a third-step cultivator's essence spread out like crazy. I have to use all my strength to charge out, but if I do, I won't have the power to return. However, none of this is a problem. Wang Lin is in the ancient star system outside the formation, so it's useless for me to stay in the sealed realm. As long as I can charge out and devour this person, then no matter how many sacrifices I make, it will be worth it. Tuo Sen made up his mind, and the presence of the third star abruptly became even denser. It gave off a blinding light that enveloped the entire space and the formation. Faint cries of death could be heard from the third star, but at that moment a crazy power reverberated. The third star had suddenly flown out and turned into a huge meteor that shot towards the formation. Tuo Sen's body continued to shrink until he was the same size as the shooting star. He followed closely behind Li Yundong. Charged the formation, with the star containing the essence aura of a third-step cultivator opening the way, along with the god-slaying spear and half-moon blade, a powerful force appeared around Tuo Senator. He moved faster and faster, and a thunderous rumble echoed as he charged at the formation. The 6 spirits of the formation attacked like crazy in an attempt to stop him. The catapults threw out countless balls of fire, and as the rumbles echoed, Tuo Sen moved faster and faster. Just at that moment, light suddenly appeared on the rune once more. This light was black, as if it was the color of nothingness. As it spread out, the rune seemed to be hidden for a time. At the same time as the black light gathered, a huge spiked club appeared. It was surrounded by black fog, and the moment it appeared, it gave off an aura that could absorb one's mind. As soon as the spiked mace appeared, it swept horizontally toward Tuo Senator as the thunderous rumbles echoed. The 7 spirits seemed to fuse into one and block Tuo Sen's charge. As the shock waves echoed, Tuo Sen's face turned pale for the first time and blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. What the hell is this formation? Which madman set it up? Could there be another existence hiding in this damn place? Otherwise, it would be impossible for there to be such a powerful formation. With his charge blocked, Tuo Sen's eyes were filled with madness, but his mind was calm. He had an arrogant personality, and aside from 2C, he had never feared anything. As he stared at the formation before him, the madness in his eyes became even stronger. Instead of retreating to find a third-step cultivator to seal and gather power, it's better to charge forward and find a third-step cultivator in the ancient star system. This can be considered your punishment for creating this formation to stop me. Tuo Sen let out a cold snort and pointed at the second star. The second star suddenly gave off an even more powerful source origin aura and flew out. It turned into a second meteor and charged at the formation with a force several times stronger than the first. Break for this god! Tuo Sen let out a roar and charged out. The two meteors formed a force that could shock the world. It was a force that was rarely seen on the formation in countless years. The formation that sealed the inner realm had never been broken before. At this moment, Tuo Sen's charge created a destructive aura that could destroy the world as it closed in. The seven spirits that had appeared continued to block, and at this moment, a thunderous rumble became the only sound. However, as Tuo Sen borrowed the power of the two stars, the god-slaying spear, and the half-moon blade to get closer, the formation lit up once more. After seeing this light, even someone as strong as Tuo Sen's mind trembled, and he charged even faster. In the blink of an eye, the light condensed into a giant axe. An ancient god aura spread out. The moment the axe appeared, Tuo Sen was completely startled. He had encountered too many things over the countless years, but he had never been as shocked as he was now. This is impossible. How could this thing become the formation spirit of this place? After the axe, which was filled with the aura of an ancient god, appeared, it descended from the sky with an indescribable aura and chopped down at Tuo Sen. It was as if nothing in the world could escape or resist this chop. So what if it's a king weapon? Enter, no one can stop me from breaking this formation. Tuo Sen's eyes were bloodshot as the first star between his eyebrows erupted with its essence. At the same time, the third star also flew out, transforming into a meteor that merged with the two meteors in front of it, forming a single meteor. Tuo Sen charged out and merged with the meteor. As the three third-step cultivators' source origin energy erupted and the power of three ancient god stars erupted, he ignored the attack of the treasure spirit and the axe and charged at the formation with the god-slaying spear and the half-moon blade. In an instant, the attacks of the seven spirits landed on the meteor around Tuo Sen's body at the same time. Immediately after, the gigantic axe chopped down and landed on the meteor. The meteor suddenly collapsed and Tuo Sen coughed out blood. His expression was ferocious, but he moved even faster. When the axe chopped down a second time, he smashed into the formation. This collision was heaven-shaking. This collision shocked the four celestial realms of the inner realm. This collision caused the protectors of the outer realm to be dumbfounded. This formation that had never been broken before trembled violently as if it was going to collapse. However, in the end, it wasn't destroyed. Tuo Sen continued to attack the array formation, causing it to become more and more intense. Ink flow divine technique. The axe smashed down again and again, causing Tuo Sen to cough out blood each time. He was still crazy and didn't hesitate to use the ink flow divine technique that 2C hadn't completed yet. At this moment, a black fog suddenly enveloped Tuo Sen's body. Under this fog, the axe actually paused, as if it was hesitating. Taking advantage of this moment, the black fog invaded the array. Explode, explode, explode. Tuo Sen's voice suddenly echoed and shocked the world. The meteor around him suddenly exploded, forming an unimaginable destructive force that landed on the formation. This caused a crack to appear on the formation for the first time. Just as the crack appeared, Tuo Sen charged out. While laughing, Tuo Sen coughed out blood. The 3 dim stars returned to between his eyebrows and one of them suddenly collapsed. Wang Lin, this god is coming. I want to see where you can run to this time. Chapter 12:20. At this moment, the star domain created by the formation didn't belong to the inner realm or the outer realm. Among the 7 different colored plants, the fruit from the red plant became even more beautiful. Inside the fruit, the heaven-defying bead slowly rotated and gradually emitted a blue flame. This flame filled the interior of the fruit, causing the color of the fruit to become even more shocking. After a long time, besides the blue flames, there were also flickering sparks of electricity within the fruit. The electricity circled around the fruit and slowly fused with the blue flames. Then, a surge of battle intent gushed out. Gradually, it used the liquid in the fruit as nutrients and slowly merged with the blue flames and lightning. The fusion of lightning, fire, and battle would have been impossible in the outside world. However, in this place, this fruit that had absorbed far too much will and power had undergone a drastic change due to the endless nutrients it had provided. More importantly, there was the heaven-defying bead inside the fruit. Time slowly passed and a new domain slowly appeared. This was the true and false domain. It appeared in the form of the Tai Chi. Half was true, half was false, half was karmic cause, and half was karmic effect. Half was life and half was death. After the Taiji domain appeared, it immediately absorbed the fire, lightning, and battle domains. It was as if the Taiji domain had turned into a vortex that absorbed everything inside the fruit. The heaven-defying bead existed at the center of the Tai Chi and rotated with it. Wang Lin felt all of this while he was awake. His current state was very blurry, as if he was dissipating or existing at the same time. As the yin-yang symbol rotated, thunder, fire, and battle were all sucked into it. Wang Lin's newly born consciousness seemed to whisper, "Fire, law to refine the heavens and earth." The moment his divine will appeared, the fruit formed from countless Tao wills and comprehension was sucked into the Taiji symbol like crazy. The Tao wills that were sucked into the Taiji symbol were the enlightenment of all the dead who had gained enlightenment of the power of fire over a long period of time. As Wang Lin absorbed, the fruit was no longer beautiful. The liquid inside was devoured by Wang Lin, and some wrinkles appeared on the surface of the fruit. As he absorbed like crazy, Wang Lin seemed to sink into a reincarnation cycle. He suddenly became an old man among the stars and waved his hand to control all the fire in the world. He suddenly became a middle-aged man, and with a wave of his hand, a cultivation planet turned into a sea of fire. He also became a young man who walked out from a sea of fire. As he walked, the sea of fire was absorbed. Similar reincarnations continued to appear in Wang Lin's mind. Each one represented a new understanding of fire. As the reincarnations continued, the Tao intents of fire fused with Wang Lin's consciousness. They were engraved in his heart and became a part of him. At this moment, from ancient times to the celestial realm to the current 4 great realms, everyone who had comprehended fire had become Wang Lin's nutrients. Although they had died, their comprehensions had been sucked away to become nutrients for his Tao seed. However, now they were all being absorbed by Wang Lin. Thunder, the law of heaven and earth, the law of heaven and earth. The moment he sent out this second divine sense, the giant fruit rapidly shrank and a large amount of liquid was absorbed by Wang Lin. The Tao intents inside entered Wang Lin's consciousness like crazy. He saw all the cultivators who cultivated the power of thunder, the cultivators from ancient times, and the law of thunder they had comprehended all enter Wang Lin's consciousness. It was as if he had become thousands of incarnations and experienced countless years since ancient times. He became an unfamiliar yet familiar cultivator, and ancient person. He obtained the power of thunder time and time again, and as he comprehended the law of heaven and earth, he obtained the Tao of thunder. War, the law of heaven and earth, the law of heaven and earth. All the Tao intents in the sealed realm contained the battles of cultivators. They were ignited in Wang Lin's consciousness and turned into an earth-shattering will that was deeply engraved in his mind. The fruit shrank even more, and as Wang Lin continued to absorb the liquid, even the red plant trembled. Just at this moment, a shocked voice came from the star system where the seven-colored flower was. "The Tao fruit is about to appear, why did it wither?" Along with the voice came a powerful divine sense that charged toward the Tao fruit. However, just as the divine sense closed in, the heaven-defying bead inside the fruit released a gentle light that slowly spread out and collided with the divine sense. The divine sense was immediately bounced back. Just as the divine sense was bounced back, a shocking change occurred. The fruit withered like crazy, and was almost sucked dry in the blink of an eye. Even the skin on the fruit collapsed and turned into countless specks of red light that were absorbed by the Tai Chi pattern outside the heaven-defying bead. This wasn't the end. The moment the fruit was sucked dry, the red plant trembled violently and began to wither at a visible rate. All of the essence of the plant couldn't escape and was absorbed by the heaven-defying bead. Wang Lin's consciousness immediately felt an unimaginable amount of origin energy enter his mind. His domain rapidly increased as he continued to absorb it. As he absorbed like crazy, countless Tao intents and origin energy entered his mind. Wang Lin immediately felt like his body was going to collapse. This intense pain seemed like it could tear his mind apart. His domain filled his divine sense. True and false, life and death, karma, as well as thunder, fire, and battle. All of this seemed to melt in that instant, becoming part of his own understanding. It became a new natural law that had never appeared in the world before. The moment this law appeared, Wang Lin's cultivation broke through the mid-stage of Nirvana Cleanser and reached the late stage of Nirvana Cleanser like countless bolts of thunder roared in his ears. This law was contained within true and false. Along with thunder, fire, and battle, it became Wang Lin's own Tao in the world. This Tao contained thunder, fire, and battle. It contained life and death, karma, and true and false. Only by fusing all of these comprehensions into one and erupting in the form of true and false could Wang Lin go from the mid-stage of Nirvana Cleanser to the late stage of Nirvana Cleanser in a short period of time. However, this wasn't the end. With the heaven-defying bead hidden, no one noticed Wang Lin being sucked into the heaven-defying bead. As he continued to comprehend and absorb, his late-stage Nirvana Cleanser cultivation began to break through to peak Nirvana Cleanser. It seemed like even peak Nirvana Cleanser wasn't the limit for him to absorb the Tao fruit. There had never been a moment like this when Wang Lin was infinitely close to peak Nirvana Cleanser and infinitely close to Nirvana Shatterer. The gap between Nirvana Cleanser and Nirvana Shatterer was very deep, and it usually took tens of thousands of years of cultivation to cross. However, after absorbing the seven-colored flower, the gap had shrunk greatly. If he missed this opportunity, it would take an unknown amount of time for Wang Lin to cross the barrier between Nirvana Cleanser and Nirvana Shatterer stages, even with the help of pills. However, the Tao he comprehended wasn't something he had personally comprehended, it was something he had absorbed from the Tao fruit. This kind of Tao required time to transform, but right now there was no time for Wang Lin to carefully think about the gains and losses. He could clearly sense that the heaven-defying bead was absorbing the quintessence of the Tao fruit and the plant branch at an incredible speed. It was almost as if it were an equal exchange. The heaven-defying bead had given him a chance to survive this life and death calamity, so it had to absorb enough energy of heaven and earth. Wang Lin wasn't unfamiliar with this state. In the past, he had learned of the heaven-defying bead's characteristics. Every time it opened, it had to devour a large amount of power of the world. If I miss this opportunity, I'll definitely regret it in the future. I'd rather spend time comprehending than miss this opportunity. Since Wang Lin obtained the heaven-defying bead, this was the first time he competed with the heaven-defying bead to devour the power of the world. I'm the owner of the heaven-defying bead, not its slave. I allowed you to complete the 5 elements and found extreme yin and extreme yang for you. You saved me from a crisis, so I'm grateful for your help. However, this is already an exchange. If I let you take all the benefits, then what difference is there between me and a slave? So what if I take some of the power of the world and Tao I absorb? I'm the owner of the heaven-defying bead. Heaven-defying bead! At this moment, the ancient voice was filled with unimaginable shock. The space around them twisted and an old man wearing a black robe appeared. He stared at the heaven-defying bead at the center of the yin-yang symbol and charged at it. However, just as he closed in, he was stopped 100 feet away and couldn't take half a step closer. He could only watch as the sovereign spent a lot of effort to grow the crimson flower, which had taken countless years of nourishment, was completely absorbed. The plant rapidly shrank until it disappeared from this star domain. From now on, only the 6-colored flower remained. After absorbing it all, the yin and yang around the heaven-defying bead were also absorbed into the heaven-defying bead. At this moment, only the 6-colored flower and the heaven-defying bead remained. At this instant, a blinding light erupted from the heaven-defying bead. This light covered the entire star system, and at the same time, a giant illusory door appeared. This door was large enough to support the world, and it gave off an ancient aura. This door was closed without any gaps. I'm writing the 4th chapter. Monthly ticket, hold on for me. Chapter 12:21. The old man in black looked at everything before him and his eyes were filled with disbelief. However, at the same time, greed filled his eyes. His hands formed a seal and he charged out once more. However, the moment he closed in, the giant door slowly opened. The moment it opened, a powerful ray of light shot out and enveloped the old man's body. A miserable scream echoed and the old man's eyes were filled with fear. He no longer charged forward and quickly retreated. Seal. Could the Lord of the Sealed Realm have resurrected? The old man's black robe burned, revealing a thin body. His body gave off a large amount of smoke, as if even someone as strong as him was going to melt under the powerful light. The door opened and a heaven-shaking aura spread out. It followed the formation outside the sealed realm and continued to spread out. Not long after Tua's son left, the formation spirits appeared once more. This time, even the last formation spirit that had never appeared before appeared. The last formation spirit was a jade pendant. The moment the jade pendant appeared, endless ripples appeared in the realm's sealing formation and thunderous rumbles echoed. At this moment, all the powerful people of the outer realm felt an aura that shocked their mind. Some of the old monsters that had lived for far too long weren't unfamiliar with this aura. This aura caused them to tremble. It caused their minds to go blank and be replaced by fear. Lord of the Sealed Realm. Compared to the outer realm, the inner realm didn't feel much. Only the strongest of the 4 great realms could feel it. In the God sect, there was a boy sitting in a secret chamber. He looked like a boy, but his hair was white. He sat there as if he hadn't moved for tens of thousands of years. However, just at this moment, his eyelids trembled and he suddenly opened his eyes. Master's aura. In the Rain's celestial realm, Qing Lin was silently cultivating, trying to recover his cultivation as soon as possible. However, at this moment, his eyes shined brightly like never before. He suddenly stood up, looked into the distance, and let out a deep breath. Teacher! The Wind's celestial realm was filled with countless mosquito beasts. On a large road in the collapsed celestial realm sat an old man. This old man's body was like a statue, it had turned into stone. But at that moment, cracks immediately appeared in the statue's eyes. As cracking sounds rang out, the old man opened his eyes, which he had not opened for a very long time. That old man's aura. The old man's eyes revealed a strange light. Countless memories seemed to emerge from his slumber, filling his mind. After a long time, He closed his eyes and once again became a stone statue. Inside the lightning celestial realm, on a cultivation planet, a woman stood at the top of a mountain. She looked at the sky, and her eyes were filled with reminiscence and confusion. I can't remember. Whose aura is it? It's familiar, very familiar. Also at this moment, on a cultivation planet in the lightning celestial realm, a young man sleeping in a mountain trembled. He suddenly sat up and stared into the distance. After a long time, he scratched his head. Scared this old man. I thought it was those old fellows from the celestial realm coming to capture me, but why does this aura feel so familiar? This young man was the person who had escaped from the spatial crack that had suddenly appeared during Wang Lin's divine retribution. The moment the gate formed by the heaven-defying bead opened, a person slowly walked out from within. The old man that was dissipating in the light revealed fear in his eyes, but soon, he frowned. It's not the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Could this person be the second Lord of the Sealed Realm? His aura isn't strong. The feeling that makes me feel fear isn't this person but the gate behind him. The person that walked out from the gate was Wang Lin. He didn't have a body, only an origin soul. In the distance, the old man's eyes lit up. He clenched his teeth and waved his right hand. Black fog surrounded his body, and he charged forward. Kill this person and steal the heaven-defying bead. If I succeed, I won't have to worry about the sovereign. The old man was surrounded by black fog as he resisted the powerful light. As the fog continued to dissipate, he charged at Wang Lin. A black claw reached out from the black fog and mercilessly reached toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He felt the aura of a third-step cultivator rush toward him, but he was extremely calm. He coldly stared at the claw and took a step back into the heaven-defying bead. Just as the old man closed in, the heaven-defying bead behind Wang Lin shined brightly. At the same time, a giant arm appeared from the gate and mercilessly reached toward the old man. There was a thunderous bang, and the black fog around the old man exploded. It turned into a surge of source energy in an attempt to resist the giant arm so he could have a chance to kill Wang Lin. However, the collapse of the black fog didn't stop the giant arm at all. It quickly closed in and reached toward the old man. No matter how the old man dodged, he couldn't avoid the arm. He clenched his teeth and bit the tip of his tongue. 3 avatars appeared. One of them charged at Wang Lin and the other 2 charged at the arm. Just at this moment, the giant arm formed a fist and its speed suddenly multiplied. It swept out and the 2 avatars collapsed. At the same time, the arm grabbed the old man charging at Wang Lin and mercilessly squeezed. If my original body came, I might have a chance, but now... The old man revealed a bitter smile and let out a sigh. His body turned into a shadow and disappeared. From beginning to end, Wang Lin's expression was still cold and didn't change at all. After the old man disappeared, the heaven-defying bead behind Wang Lin flashed once more and quickly shrank. The gate became a blur and disappeared into the heaven-defying bead. It took Wang Lin's origin soul and charged into the distance. It broke through the star system and disappeared into the void. On this day, the 7-colored realm that had been calm for 100 years shined brightly in the sky above the mountain peak. The moment this light shrouded the 7-colored realm, a blurry figure appeared. There was confusion and melancholy in his eyes as he let out a sigh. His gaze fell on a corpse covered in dust at the top of the mountain. It was like a dream for several years. The shadow murmured as it gradually fused with the body on the mountain. After a long time, Wang Lin opened his eyes and popping sounds echoed inside his body. The dust scattered and formed a storm that swept the area. He, who had been asleep for 100 years, stood up once more. The moment Wang Lin stood up, the aura of a late-stage nirvana cleanser cultivator came from his body. This aura continued to rise until it reached a peak. Then it suddenly broke through to peak nirvana cleanser. However, this rising aura didn't stop. It became crazy once more. It began to charge toward the Nirvana Shatterer stage. One of the 7 colored flowers had absorbed a large amount of Tao intent and origin energy. Although a majority of it had been devoured by the heaven-defying bead, because Wang Lin had taken the initiative to steal it for the first time, he had absorbed a lot from the heaven-defying bead. At this moment, his hair moved without any wind and his body gave off a strange aura. The fire in his left eye formed a mark and the lightning in his right eye formed a mark. These 2 marks flew out and fused into one. There was also the vague word battle inside. This was a mark that had never appeared in the world before. This was a new law. At this moment, this mark landed between Wang Lin's eyebrows and fused with his true and false Tao. Suddenly, an image that looked like a Taiji symbol appeared on his forehead. It slowly rotated, and then began to shine with a strange light. The symbol gradually shrank until it was nothing more than a star. It flickered brightly on his forehead, and then gradually faded away. No matter how you looked at it, this star was extremely similar to an ancient god's star. If this new star formed by law appeared between the eyebrows of a 9-star ancient god, then it would be mistaken for a 10-star ancient god. The moment this star appeared, the aura of a Nirvana Shatterer cultivator erupted from Wang Lin's body. This aura was heaven-shaking. Wang Lin took a deep breath and his eyes became clear. His right hand quickly formed a seal and pointed at his body several times. His face turned slightly red, but he didn't stop. He immediately placed countless seals on his body before stopping. The Nirvana Shatterer aura inside his body gradually dissipated until it was hidden under the many restrictions. This aura is enough for me to reach the peak of the early stage of Nirvana Shatterer. However, if I continue like this, the law formed by my domain will solidify before I fully understand it. It will make it difficult for me to advance any further. This method will have too great of an impact on the future. However, it would be a pity to give up, so I should seal them first. Once I completely understand and master the law formed by my domain, I can open the seals one by one. As a result, it will be foolproof. And it will make my cultivation even stronger. Wang Lin took a deep breath and there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. I'm now at the peak of the Nirvana Cleanser stage and half a step into the Nirvana Shatterer stage. I wonder how strong I will be with my ancient god body, spells, and treasures. Can late-stage Nirvana Shatterer and peak Nirvana Shatterer cultivators win? I should be able to win against late-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivators, but I haven't fought against peak Nirvana Shatterer cultivators yet. If there is a chance, I should fight them. The star hidden between Wang Lin's eyebrows flashed uncontrollably, causing his body to be filled with battle intent. Wang Lin took a deep breath and suppressed the star. He frowned. He knew that this was a sign that he hadn't fully understood and mastered his domain. It's time to go. I wonder how the mosquito beast has been and how long I've been sleeping inside the 7-colored flower. It should have been 20 to 30 years. Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly. With great confidence, he walked out of the mountain and flew forward. This trip is over. It's time to go to the wind celestial realm. If I can collect a large amount of mosquito beasts, I'll even be qualified to try the god sect in the Cloud Sea. I just don't know if Tuo Sun has awakened at this moment in the ancient star system, in the vast sea of stars. Tuo Sun stared at the stars and clenched his teeth. His expression was extremely gloomy and anger filled his body. He had the urge to destroy all life he could see. He had spent a lot of effort, not hesitating to collapse a star and absorb all the third-step cultivators inside to barely break the formation. All of this was to devour Wang Lin. However, right now, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't feel Wang Lin's aura at all. Not in the inner realm, not in the outer realm, but that formation has his aura. Could he be hiding inside the formation? With his cultivation level, it's impossible. Tuo Sun threw his head back and roared, his eyes bloodshot as he looked around. Soon, He noticed that there was a starfield off in the distance that seemed to be inhabited by large numbers of Archean dwellers. Having nowhere to vent his anger, he clenched his fists and charged forward. Damn Wang Lin, sooner or later, this god will find you and devour you to vent the anger in my heart. Finally, he completed the 4th day of eruption. He also wrote 400 to 500 more words. Mighty. Chapter 12:22. Wang Lin pondered as he stepped out of the mountain. At this moment, the crack at the top of the mountain had disappeared and the light from the 7-colored realm had dissipated, returning it to darkness. Looking at the darkness ahead, Wang Lin's divine sense spread out. After leaving the mountain, he was about to rush out, but he suddenly stopped and looked down at a valley not far away. "Come out and see me." Wang Lin's voice was calm, but it contained a sense of majesty that couldn't be refused. His words were cold and echoed inside the valley like a cold wind. It seemed to shake the entire 7-colored realm and formed a thunderous rumble. Everyone who heard it felt their minds tremble. Master Cloud Soul was sitting inside a cave in the valley. When the rift that lit up the entire 7-colored realm appeared on the mountain Wang Lin was on, he had awakened from his cultivation. What followed was a sense of shock and inexplicable fear. He had a vague guess that the person from 100 years ago seemed to have returned. There was not much of the killing intent he had from 100 years ago left in him. As he hesitated, he suddenly sensed a presence that caused his soul to scatter. At the same time, cold words manifested around him like sharp blades. They pierced through his body and landed on his nascent divinity. His face was pale, and he felt as if his ears were ringing. Faint blue flames appeared around his body, as if he were being burned. There was also thunder within the flames, causing his entire body to instantly go numb. What shocked him even more was that battle intent that was about to go crazy rose up in his heart. It would have been fine if he could vent this battle intent, but right now it was forcefully locked in his body by a will. As a result, his soul was being roasted by the battle intent. He was in so much pain that he wanted to die, and he actually groaned miserably even with his cultivation. What terrified him even more was that he had an extremely strong feeling that if he didn't leave immediately, then the other party would only need a single thought to kill him. This. How can he be so strong? Master Cloud Soul's face was pale and filled with fear. He could clearly feel that the current Wang Lin was like heaven and earth compared to 100 years ago. Without any hesitation, Master Cloud Soul rushed out of the cave and immediately saw Wang Lin floating in the sky. The moment he saw Wang Lin, his mind went blank. Only his pounding heart replaced everything else. The surroundings were completely silent, but Master Cloud Soul felt like the entire world had become the other party's palm. He was in that palm and couldn't escape at all. His life and death were not in his hands but in the mind of the person before him. In particular, although the spot between the eyebrows of the person before him was completely blank, Master Cloud Soul had a strong feeling that there seemed to be an eye staring at him from between the eyebrows. That eye contained an unimaginable law. It was as if the blue flames and thunder burning inside his body, as well as the battle intent that could collapse his origin soul, were all coming from this third eye. Even when he was disrupted by Wang Lin, causing him to appear in the valley and face the fierce beasts in the fog, his fear was insignificant compared to now. In his view, the aura Wang Lin gave him was strong enough to sweep through the 7-colored realm. Before Wang Lin, he was like an ant. This feeling became stronger and stronger. In the end, Master Cloud Soul's face became even more pale. Wang Lin coldly looked at Master Cloud Soul and raised his right hand. His index finger pointed at the void and his eyes coldly collided with Master Cloud Soul's. A strange mark appeared on Wang Lin's right hand and slowly flew toward Master Cloud Soul. This mark wasn't fast, and if Master Cloud Soul wanted to dodge it, it would be extremely easy. However, under Wang Lin's gaze, cold sweat appeared on Master Cloud Soul's forehead and he didn't dare to move at all. He felt a strong sense of crisis. If he moved, what awaited him would be a merciless beheading. He believed that Wang Lin could do it, even instantly kill him. This feeling was something he had experienced after cultivating for so many years. He had never felt something like this in his life. This feeling was so clear that it made him feel fear. Watching the mark get closer and closer, Master Cloud Soul's mind struggled. However, in the end, he gave up all resistance and allowed the mark to land between his eyebrows. The moment the mark landed, the unpredictable blue flames and thunder that appeared in his body, as well as the strange battle intent in his origin soul, all gathered between his eyebrows and fused with the mark. After flashing a few times, it disappeared. Master Cloud Soul secretly let out a sigh of relief. His expression was extremely respectful as he whispered, "This old servant greets master." With his cultivation, he could naturally tell at a glance that the mark wasn't a killing mark, but one that controlled life and death. Although Wang Lin didn't say it explicitly, his actions revealed the meaning. Either be his slave in life or his soul in death. This was indeed what Wang Lin thought. If Master Cloud Soul didn't open his eyes, then he didn't mind killing him. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze from Master Cloud Soul and calmly said, "How long have I been asleep?" Master Cloud Soul felt bitter in his heart, but he wasn't unwilling at all. He was just in a trance. When he thought about the difference between Wang Lin from 100 years ago and now, he let out a sigh. After hearing this, he respectfully said, "Master has been asleep for 99 years. Wang Lin's expression was neutral, but his heart was startled. He looked at the dark world before him and silently pondered. So much time has passed. Master Cloud Soul didn't dare to disturb Wang Lin's thoughts. He looked at Wang Lin with a complicated expression. Everything that had happened over the past 100 years was like a dream to him. He could never have imagined that the person he looked down on when he first entered would become his master. A moment later, Wang Lin's body flickered and he flew across the sky. Master Cloud Soul quickly followed and sighed in his heart. With Wang Lin's current cultivation, he moved very fast. It didn't take long for him to arrive at Sima Mo's Valley. This place had been struck by the thunder fire, but because it contained Wang Lin's will, it was preserved. With a wave of his right hand, Wang Lin stepped into the valley. Master Cloud Soul respectfully stood outside the valley. Without Wang Lin's order, he didn't dare to take half a step into the valley. Inside the valley, Wang Lin looked at everything he was familiar with. 100 years of time had passed so quickly that it caught him off guard. At the same time, there was a trace of danger in his heart. Tuo Sin should have come out by now. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he charged toward the first cave. His divine sense spread out and he let out a sigh of relief. In the countless restrictions of the first cave abode, all of the crystals had turned to dust, and the beast souls inside had dissipated. The mosquito beast fell to the ground, and there was something like an egg wrapped around its body. It was extremely weak inside, as if it didn't have the strength to struggle out. The moment Wang Lin's divine sense entered, the weak mosquito beast immediately opened its eyes. They were filled with confusion, but they soon revealed a look of joy and began to struggle. However, because it lacked origin crystals, it hadn't undergone a complete transformation and couldn't break free. When Wang Lin saw this, his heart ached. He opened the cave and entered. His right hand reached at the void and a crack to his storage space appeared. All the origin crystals he had obtained flew out and scattered around. The moment these origin crystals appeared, they gave off dense origin energy that rushed toward the mosquito beast wrapped in the egg. The mosquito beast quickly absorbed the origin energy and began its transformation. Go and invite Qin Tianjun over. He shouldn't be dead. Wang Lin's divine sense penetrated the valley and landed on Master Cloud Soul's mind. Master Cloud Soul immediately nodded and turned into a ray of light as he flew into the distance. Qin Tianjun sat cross-legged in the cave from 100 years ago. During these 100 years, His emotions were extremely complicated, as if his hope of leaving this place had been extinguished. He would often stare blankly at the pitch-black world, thinking about his life before he entered this place. Teacher and senior brothers should be fighting the fierce beasts on the battlefield in the rank 9 region. That is where I should be. I shouldn't be here. During these 100 years, he had silently lived in this world without light. He was already in despair, but the moment Wang Lin awakened, light appeared in this place that had been dark for 100 years. This caused Chen Tianjuan's desperate heart to tremble. He wanted to leave this place. He really wanted to leave this place. This kind of eagerness was enough to burn him. He suddenly stood up and rushed out of the cave. He looked into the distance and his mind trembled. Is he back? Just as he was waiting anxiously, a ray of light came from the distance. Chen Tianjun immediately saw Master Cloud Soul. His heart skipped a beat and he retreated a few steps. His eyes became gloomy and he became cautious. Master Cloud Soul floated in the air and coldly looked at Chen Tianjun. He slowly said, "Fellow cultivator Chen, Master invites you to go with the old man, Master?" Chen Tianjun was startled. After pondering for a moment, he seemed to think of something and took a deep breath. Without a word, he flew off into the distance with Master Cloud Soul. It didn't take long for Chen Tianjun to arrive at Sima Mo's valley. Here, he clearly felt Wang Lin's aura, and his eyes were filled with ecstasy. "Fellow cultivator Chen, quickly come in." Wang Lin's voice came from the valley. Chen Tianjun quickly nodded and excitedly entered the valley. He immediately saw Wang Lin's figure outside the cave. "Brother Lu." When Chen Tianjun saw Wang Lin, his voice trembled in excitement. His 100 years of waiting had suddenly come to an end. Even he found it difficult to control his emotions. "Do you have enough origin crystals?" Wang Lin nodded slightly. Enough. Chen Tianjun opened his storage space and took out a bag of holding. He respectfully handed it to Wang Lin. After Wang Lin accepted it, he scanned it with his divine sense. After leaving a few words, he entered the cave. "Wait for me, I'll take you away." Chen Tianjun had waited 100 years for these words. At this moment, he took a deep breath and suppressed his emotions. He looked at the dark sky, and at this moment even the sky seemed to have light. "I can finally go out. Yesterday's writing was very passionate, and today's writing was very satisfying. Give me more monthly vote. First, it seems like I'm getting further and further away, but second, I have to hold on." Chapter 12:23. In the first cave, Wang Lin opened his bag of holding. The amount of origin crystals inside was enough to show that Chen Tianjun was seriously collecting them. He waved his right hand and the origin crystals flew out and landed on the surrounding restrictions. Popping sounds echoed. The origin crystals Wang Lin had taken out had all their origin energy sucked out and turned to dust. The moment they dissipated, new origin crystals fell. A large amount of essence energy flowed into the mosquito beast's body through the restriction. Gradually, the mosquito beast's life force became denser, and it slowly recovered from its weakened state. The purple hue on its body dissipated, revealing a faint golden glow. This golden glow was very faint, but the moment it appeared, a powerful pressure spread out from the mosquito beast. 100 years of refinement, enough origin crystals to make any sect feel heartache, and a special method had finally allowed the mosquito beast to successfully transform. As the origin energy continued to enter the bag, the mosquito beast's spirit became better, and it began to struggle more and more. It let out a series of low growls. After consuming about 70% of the origin crystals, the mosquito beast let out a shocking roar and broke free from the egg. As it flew up into the air, its sharp mouth stabbed into the egg and sucked it dry. A loud roar came from the cave. The faint, golden mosquito beast cheered as it circled around Wang Lin. Its large mouth continued to rub Wang Lin's body, and it looked very excited. The size of the mosquito beast had also changed. It was now only 30 feet tall, but it gave off the aura of a Nirvana cleanser cultivator. Wang Lin smiled and waved his right hand to put away the mosquito beast. The mosquito beast was his ace in the hole, and he wouldn't let anyone see it until it was in a group. After walking out of the cave, Wang Lin pondered and put away everything else in the cave, including the giant pill furnace. As for the lost ones and the enlightened ones, they were all empty. They had all died during the battle with the white-haired old man when the white-haired old man had summoned them. Even the old man in the 8th cave had disappeared without a trace, leaving only ashes on the ground. Although Sima Mo found all his fellow sect members, in the end, none of them awakened. They all dissipated. Wang Lin let out a sigh as he stood outside the 6th cave and pressed his right hand on the stone door. The time restriction suddenly appeared and rippled. However, as Wang Lin's eyes lit up, his right hand formed a fist and he mercilessly threw a punch. A thunderous rumble echoed and a powerful impact erupted from Wang Lin's body and landed on the mountain rock. At this instant, the star formed by law between Wang Lin's eyebrows flashed. There was a heaven-shaking rumble and cracks appeared on the mountain rock under Wang Lin's right hand. This scene was personally witnessed by Chen Tianjun inside the valley. He gasped and his gaze toward Wang Lin became even more awe. Even Master Cloud's soul outside the valley noticed this, and his mind trembled. The moment he opened the mountain rock, Wang Lin clearly felt that he was much stronger than before. This feeling was very good. After entering the cave, Wang Lin picked up the jade on the ground and scanned it with his divine sense. Just as he expected, this jade contained the time restriction of the 4 great restrictions. Just like before, he opened the 7th cave and took out another jade. Wang Lin scanned it with his divine sense and completely memorized the time restriction. Then he crushed the jade. The time restriction was one of the 4 great restrictions. Even Sima Mo needed 100 years to comprehend it. This restriction was vast and profound, and it required careful deduction to learn it. This restriction was simply too powerful. If it wasn't for the fact that Wang Lin's cultivation level had increased greatly and he was the inheritor of the annihilation restriction, he wouldn't have been able to break the time restriction so easily without any of these factors. Most importantly, Sima Mo's time restriction hadn't been deduced to its true essence. After all, the time was too short, so he had only learned a bit of it. Wang Lin wouldn't allow anyone else to learn this restriction from the jade due to his negligence. Therefore, he was going to destroy the jade so that only he could learn the flowing time restriction. Sima Mo's cave had the most restrictions, and the most mysterious one was the 9th cave. Back then, Wang Lin had only seen a 7-colored fog, but he hadn't been able to see what was inside. As he moved forward, he arrived outside the 9th cave. He placed his right hand on the rock and gently pressed down. Large amounts of ripples appeared on the rock and gradually became transparent. Wang Lin's gaze was like lightning as he immediately saw the 7-colored fog inside the cave that seemed to exist forever. The 7-colored light faintly seeped out from the mountain rocks, gradually illuminating the pitch-black valley. Looking at the 7-colored fog inside the cave, Wang Lin could vaguely see what was inside. At the center of the 7-colored fog was a skeleton. It was the skeleton of a beast, and it looked like a little deer. However, there was a short sword inserted into the beast bone. The moment he saw this, Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly. He clearly remembered that back in the 7-colored realm, he had also seen something like this. He didn't understand what this meant. After pondering for a long time, Wang Lin's right hand landed on the rock. Popping sounds echoed and cracks appeared on the rock, but it didn't collapse. Wang Lin frowned and let out a cold snort. His right hand formed a fist and landed on the rock a second time. There was a loud bang that seemed to cause the entire valley to tremble. Large amounts of rocks fell off and even more cracks appeared on the rock. In the end, the rock collapsed into countless fragments that scattered in all directions. The 7-colored fog inside the cave didn't change at all because of the collapse of the rock. It continued to spread out and move strangely. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he slowly walked into the cave. He stopped outside the seven-colored fog and his divine sense spread out to observe. After a long time, Wang Lin's expression changed and he saw some clues. This fog didn't appear out of nowhere, it seemed like it was born from the deer bone. Interesting. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he raised his right hand to enter the seven-colored fog. However, just at this moment, his expression changed and his right hand suddenly stopped. At this moment, he could clearly feel the soul of Tian Yunzi's avatar struggling to escape from the 18 Hell Celestial Sealing Stamp. This was the first time the soul that was sealed inside the Celestial Sealing Stamp and couldn't enter the reincarnation cycle showed signs of struggling. Wang Lin entered the Celestial Sealing Stamp and swept through the 18 layers of hell. He arrived at the layer where Tian Yunzi's soul was sealed, and without hesitation, he rushed into the soul and fused with it. Gradually, Wang Lin's aura underwent a heaven-shaking change. He was no longer Wang Lin, but Tian Yunzi. His expression was calm, as if everything in the world was under his control, and nothing could move him. Sensing Tian Yunzi's soul, Wang Lin could clearly sense the soul's desire for the seven-colored fog. This desire was strong, and he could understand it from the fact that it was struggling to escape the celestial sealing stamp. Desire. I want to see what this seven-colored fog can do to you. A strange light appeared in Wang Lin's eyes and his right hand reached into the seven-colored fog without hesitation. Just at this moment, the seven-colored fog churned and entered Wang Lin's right hand. In an instant it disappeared, but the moment it disappeared, seven-colored fog came out from the beast bone and entered Wang Lin's right hand. The mist fused with Wang Lin's nascent divinity and directly entered the immortal sealing stamp. Tian Yunzi's soul madly absorbed it. As he absorbed, he had the illusion of flesh and blood. It made Wang Lin feel as if he could see the real Tian Yunzi sealed inside the stamp, not the two souls fused together. Time passed. After the time it takes an incense stick to burn, the animal bones on the ground no longer emitted seven-colored mist. All of the mist that had entered Wang Lin's body had been absorbed by Tian Yunzi's soul. Tian Yunzi's soul sat cross-legged within the crystalline light, as if he were doing breathing exercises and absorbing. Gradually, the feeling that Wang Lin didn't like became more and more clear. Interesting. Wang Lin observed for a moment, then retracted his divine sense. His gaze fell on the dagger in the beast bone on the ground. He pulled out the dagger and carefully looked at it. There was also a seal on it, and it was almost the same as the one he obtained before. The moment the dagger was pulled out, the beast bone trembled and collapsed into ashes. After pondering a bit, Wang Lin knew this was not the time to undo the seal, so he put away the dagger and walked out of the cave. Looking at the dark sky, Wang Lin softly said, "Let's leave this place." As he spoke, his body flickered and he left the valley with Chun Tianjun. Master Cloud's soul followed closely behind and charged toward the edge of the seven-colored realm. With Wang Lin leading the way, an aura suddenly appeared in the distance. It was the old woman in green. She seemed to be very hesitant and didn't dare to get close, so she followed from a distance. 4 rays of light flew across the sky and arrived at the edge of the seven-colored realm. This was the altar they had entered from. However, at this moment, the altar had already collapsed and turned into ruins. Standing here, Wang Lin's hand formed a seal and the method to leave this place appeared in his mind. As his hand moved faster and faster, countless seals flew out and landed in the void before him. At the same time, it seemed as if a hidden rift was about to open. However, just at this instant, Wang Lin's expression suddenly changed. His hand stopped and he looked up. At this moment, a giant vortex appeared in the dark sky. This vortex appeared out of nowhere and stirred the world. At the same time, the dark sky seemed to collapse into countless fragments that became part of the vortex. 2 ruthless gazes that contained the vicissitudes of time appeared from the depths of the vortex and descended on Wang Lin. You want to leave just like that after devouring my original body's Tao fruit? I don't have many monthly votes, I need monthly votes. Chapter 12:24. This voice was as mighty as thunder as it descended from the sky. It caused the earth to tremble and countless cracks appeared, as if the earth was going to collapse. The sound of the collapse was hidden in the darkness and came from all directions. At the instant this voice rang out, a wave of pressure gathered from all directions and slowly descended upon them. As it descended, it was as if the entire seven-colored realm had become a void that was being squeezed by the endless force from all directions. Chen Tianjuan's cultivation level was the lowest, so just the pressure alone caused his origin soul to tremble. Blood came out from the corner of his mouth, and he subconsciously retreated a few steps. His expression changed greatly, and he immediately took out a pill to swallow to resist. Master Cloud Soul's face was pale as he stared at the sky. Under those two gazes, he felt like his entire body was naked. Popping sounds came from his body and his face became even more pale. The pupils of the old man in green shrank and his face became pale. An illusory figure appeared around him and his appearance changed rapidly. Sometimes it was an old woman, sometimes it was a beautiful woman. Only Wang Lin's figure remained straight like a pine tree. The moment the pressure closed in on him, it was as if there was a law surrounding Wang Lin that didn't conform to the world. He stared at the eyes in the vortex in the sky and didn't say a word, but his right hand gradually clenched. This lord won't bully you. If you can survive this palm, this lord will give you a chance to continue growing. The old voice inside the vortex was filled with fatigue as it slowly came out. However, just as it finished speaking, the vortex in the sky began to rotate rapidly. The rotation speed suddenly reached a peak. As it stirred up the sky, even the eyes were hidden behind the vortex. As the vortex rotated, thunderous rumbles echoed. It was as if the world was collapsing before Wang Lin. At this moment, the vortex descended with a might that could destroy the heavens and earth. It was as if all living things would be torn apart and become a part of this vortex. As the vortex descended, the earth trembled violently and endless tearing sounds echoed in the darkness. Chen Tianjun coughed out blood and his origin soul trembled as the vortex descended. Master Cloud Soul and the old woman in green also trembled and their eyes were filled with fear. The vortex descended even faster and pressed down on the earth. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes and he suddenly jumped into the air like a meteor. His right hand formed a fist, and he threw a heaven-shaking punch at the descending vortex. A heaven-shaking rumble echoed like thunder in the seven-colored realm. With this punch, endless lightning appeared in the seven-colored realm. It was as if there were millions of silver snakes in the sky, lighting up everything. These millions of bolts of thunder appeared because of Wang Lin's punch. The moment the punch landed, the endless thunder gathered toward Wang Lin's right fist like crazy. It turned into an indescribable impact that shot into the sky. Thunderous rumbles continued to echo, but the descent of the vortex didn't stop. It mercilessly pressed down on Wang Lin. Floating in the air, Wang Lin's clothes fluttered. He clearly felt the suction from the vortex. It felt like his origin soul was going to be sucked out, his origin energy stripped, and his body crushed. Are you all going to sit here and wait for death? Are you going to charge out with me? Wang Lin's words echoed like a cold wind and landed in the ears of the three people below. Master Cloud Soul clenched his teeth and jumped to the left of Wang Lin. He waved his sleeves and countless ghost souls surrounded him. They let out mournful cries and caused Master Cloud Soul's expression to become ferocious. The old woman in green's face was pale, but she didn't hesitate to rush out and stand to the right of Wang Lin. Her hands formed a seal and a mist surrounded her body. This mist gave off the smell of blood and contained the power of life and death. There was a large amount of restriction runes flashing inside. Chen Tianjun was the last to fly out. He stood below Wang Lin and waved his hand. All the pores on his body opened up like crazy and the aura of beast souls spread out. More than a dozen roaring beast souls appeared around him. There were even 2 rank 12 beast souls among them. Although they were extremely weak and didn't have the power they had when they were alive, they were still shocking. Wang Lin didn't look around, but the star of law between his eyebrows flashed. His right hand formed a fist and the trident appeared. He mercilessly held it in his hand. So what if it's just the power of one palm? With a laugh, Wang Lin charged out and closed in on the vortex that was descending. It was as if the sky was collapsing and everything below it was going to be crushed. There was no chance of survival. As Wang Lin continued to charge forward, lightning flashed like crazy around his body, and battle intent filled his body. He gave off the feeling that he wanted to compete with the heavens. It was as if even if the heavens collapsed, he would still be able to charge out a path to kill his way to the heavens. Driven by this battle intent, Master Cloud's soul let out a roar and the Een souls around him suddenly condensed. He took out a black awl and spat out blood onto it. It was as if a seal had been broken and the awl gave off an ancient aura. He charged out after Wang Lin toward the vortex in the sky. Master Cloud's soul's blood seemed to boil at this moment. If he charged out, he could live, but if he couldn't, he would die. The old woman in green's face was pale, but her eyes were extremely bright and filled with determination. She waved her right hand and the fog around her split into 2 parts. They formed a life and death fog dragon that carried her body as she charged out with Wang Lin. Chen Tianjun also let out a roar and all the beast souls around him gathered. They roared and struggled to survive as they charged out like crazy. The 4 rays of light, with Wang Lin in the lead, closed in on the vortex in the sky. In an instant they collided. Wang Lin's battle intent surged as he swept the trident in his right hand and launched a spell at the collapsing vortex. His origin energy surged and ancient god power filled his body. He was like a meteor that broke through all barriers in the world. He unexpectedly tore open a gap in the vortex. However, the vortex was too powerful, and Chen Tianjun was the first to be unable to withstand it. The beast soul around him collapsed, and he let out a miserable scream. His body trembled and turned into a pile of flesh and blood that was sucked into the vortex. His origin soul struggled to escape, but the vortex was too powerful, and he was about to be sucked in. "You promised to take me out? You promised." Chen Tianjuan's origin soul sent out a mournful message. As his divine sense echoed, Wang Lin suddenly turned around. His right hand reached out and grabbed Chen Tianjuan's origin soul to fight against the power of the vortex. With a bang, Chen Tianjuan's origin soul was split in half. One part was devoured by the vortex and the other was taken by Wang Lin. His body flickered and he charged toward the gap. The moment Master Cloud's soul charged into the vortex, popping sounds came from his body and he coughed out blood. All the Een souls before him died, and even his treasure collapsed. However, that treasure was no ordinary treasure. Borrowing the moment it collapsed, he charged into the gap Wang Lin had opened. The old woman in green clenched her teeth and charged into the gap. Under the powerful suction force, her life and death restriction shattered, and she coughed out blood. The suction force became stronger and stronger, and the gap in the vortex was rapidly healing. In this moment of crisis, the old woman's hand formed a seal and she pointed to between her eyebrows. Her body trembled and a figure appeared on her left and right. One was an old woman and the other was a middle-aged woman. At the instant the 2 figures appeared, they immediately chose to self-destruct. In that moment of danger, they found a chance to survive. The old woman in green charged out from the explosion and entered the gap. However, this wasn't the end, this was just the beginning. The vortex passed through the crowd and landed on the ground. Rumbling sounds rang out, and the ground trembled violently. At the same time, it began to squirm in a strange manner, and at an incredible speed, 5 towering mountains began to rise from the ground. Looking down from Wang Lin's position, he could clearly see this scene. This is... Blood continued to flow out from the corner of Master Cloud Soul's mouth, but there was no joy in escaping. Instead, he stared dumbfoundedly at the earth, and his eyes were filled with disbelief and horror. The old woman beside him was too heavily injured. At this moment she looked dispirited, but her eyes were also filled with intense fear. In that instant, the entire land had transformed into a gigantic palm. The 5 towering peaks were actually the 5 fingers of the palm. The large amount of cracks that had appeared on the ground were the palm lines. The size of this palm was unimaginable, and it gave off a pressure that far surpassed the pressure from the collapsed vortex. This palm slowly spread out from the 7-colored realm. What was the power of one palm? The 7-colored realm was the palm, the mountains were the fingers, and the cracks were the palm lines. This was the power of one palm from the ancient voice. At this moment, Wang Lin, Master Cloud Soul, and the old woman in green were still inside the 7-colored realm, inside this palm. The ancient voice's tired words clearly echoed in Wang Lin's mind. The meaning of those words was still extremely obvious. Escape the palm and you'll live. Just at this moment, the palm formed by the 7-colored realm slowly began to close. A powerful pressure spread out, and as the 5 fingers closed, it was as if the palm was clenching into a fist to crush the ant in the palm. There was no fear in Wang Lin's eyes. Instead, a powerful battle intent filled his heart and his blood boiled. There were still 6 blurry ancient god stars rotating between his eyebrows. At the center of the 6 stars was the star of law formed by his domain. At a glance, he looked like a 7-star ancient god. Let's fight. Wang Lin held the trident in his right hand and swept it to his side. He was like a war celestial as he charged down. At night, the old man came and the old couple quarreled again. After drinking with the old man, Wang Lin sent the old man away in a daze and began to use the time to write. He hadn't been delaying this long on purpose. Chapter 12:25. As Wang Lin charged forward, the ring he got from Pangdetsai gave off rays of light that rotated around his body, forming a storm. Wang Lin was inside the storm as he closed in on the giant hand formed by the 7-colored realm. Master Cloud Soul hesitated for a bit before clenching his teeth and following Wang Lin. As for the old woman in green, she was too seriously injured. She didn't hesitate to fly into the air in an attempt to avoid the fist of the hand. The hand formed by the entire 7-colored realm slowly closed in on Wang Lin as thunderous rumbles echoed. It was going to completely crush Wang Lin. It was a scene that shocked heaven and earth. The 5 fingers were moving with incredible speed, causing ear-piercing whistling sounds to echo out as they bore down from 5 different directions. The entire sky was filled with shadows, and it was a shocking sight to behold. The fastest was the pinky finger of the hand. Before it even got close, a gust of wind blew past. The wind was so strong that it seemed to be able to destroy the void, destroy the heavens and earth, and destroy the fleshly bodies of all living things. The old woman in green, who was already seriously injured, trembled and her face turned ashen. However, she struggled to fly higher in an attempt to escape the palm. She knew that the target of this giant palm was Wang Lin. As long as Wang Lin died, the giant palm would dissipate and everything would calm down. At this moment, she no longer dared to think about leaving the 7-colored realm. The only thought in her mind was to survive. No matter what, she had to survive. As long as I can last until that person named Lu dies, I can live. The old woman in green's face was pale. She clenched her teeth and struggled to fly higher. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with battle intent as he watched the pinky of the hand fly toward him. This finger was extremely large, and almost replaced a small portion of the sky. As it closed in, it slowly bent toward Wang Lin. I don't know if this person is the sovereign. He wants me to try to escape, but why should I escape? How can I escape? Let's fight. Wang Lin laughed as the star of law between his eyebrows rotated rapidly. He raised his left hand and pointed at the sky. Suddenly, a gust of black wind filled the world. The black wind was thick enough to cover the sky, and within the black wind were 6 black dragons that roared and appeared. As they roared angrily, they charged at the pinky of the palm. The moment these 6 black dragons appeared, a 7th black dragon roared out from within the black wind in the sky. Originally, with Wang Lin's cultivation level, 6 was his limit. However, with the battle domain of the Star of Law, he broke through this limit and summoned the 7th black dragon. The 7 black dragons contained a coldness that could extinguish the fire of life and quickly collided with the pinky of the hand. If the pinky of the hand was a towering mountain, then the 7 black dragons were celestial dragons that would shatter the mountain. They wouldn't stop until the mountain collapsed. Thunderous rumbles echoed and a powerful shockwave spread out like crazy. Wang Lin didn't retreat but charged forward. As he closed in, his left hand formed another seal and he pointed at the sky. Suddenly, as the 7 black dragons crashed into each other and collapsed one by one, a chilling aura descended from the sky. This chilling aura contained a sticky feeling. In an instant, endless crystalline light flashed in the world, and drops of rain instantly appeared. The moment the raindrops appeared, endless origin energy gathered. The origin energy surged into the raindrops, and a powerful aura suddenly surrounded the area. The moment Wang Lin waved his left hand, the raindrops were like swords that fell on his palm. Crackling sounds echoed and white frost appeared on the surface of the giant palm. In the blink of an eye, a layer of ice appeared. That little finger, in particular, was completely wrapped in a layer of ice as most of the rain fell on it and the cold air swept across it. However, the ice didn't stop there. The moment it was frozen, it exploded. This wasn't the power of the palm, but the change of the summon the rain spell. This change wouldn't have appeared before Wang Lin's cultivation level increased. However, now that Wang Lin's cultivation level had increased, along with the stimulation of the battle domain, the summon the rain spell underwent a drastic change. After the rain came the ice, and after the ice came the collapse. The power of the collapse of the ice was far more powerful than the power of the ice seal. The sound of the collapse of the ice echoed across the world. The 5 fingers of the palm formed by the 7-colored realm trembled, but they didn't stop at all and continued to descend. Even the pinky of the hand only trembled a few times, allowing the black dragons and the collapse of the ice to descend. Wang Lin's eyes were bloodshot, and after using the collapse of the ice, he didn't stop. He waved his left hand once more and the celestial sealing stamp flew out. A large amount of battle souls came out, but Tian Yunzi's soul didn't appear. The remaining souls were led by Master Void and charged at the pinky of the hand. Wang Lin was already going all out. After he used Magic Arsenal, his left hand formed a seal, pointed at the ground and let out a roar. Landslide! The entire earth trembled and 5 giant volcanoes appeared before Wang Lin. Although they were illusory, the volcanoes continued to collapse. At this instant, endless slaughter energy rushed out from Wang Lin's body. This was all the slaughter energy he had absorbed from the gray-robed Tian Yunzi. All of this slaughter energy filled the world and condensed into a blood-colored slaughter sword. Along with all of Wang Lin's spells, it shot toward the pinky of the hand. All of this happened in the time it took for a spark to fly off a piece of flint, and it all happened the instant the 5 fingers closed. At this moment the black winds spread, the black dragons roared, the rain fell, the ice collapsed, the battle souls were shocking, and they didn't care about self-destruction. The mountains collapsed and the slaughter energy surrounded them. In an instant, all of this turned into an extremely powerful spell that charged towards his pinky finger. 6 illusory volcanoes instantly superimposed over the little finger, emitting an earth-shattering roar. The 7 black dragons crashed into each other and exploded. The rain that filled the sky turned into layers of ice, constantly condensing and constantly collapsing. Countless battle souls closed in and exploded, turning into a powerful shockwave. The slaughter sword stabbed into his pinky finger and shattered, and a large amount of slaughter aura entered his pinky finger. The earth trembled and Master Cloud's soul coughed out blood. The old woman in green's origin soul almost collapsed. The world seemed to stop moving, and at this moment, a thunderous rumble echoed across the world. The little finger that had been formed from the mountain suddenly collapsed. Cracking sounds rang out and cracks appeared. The top half of the little finger turned into a storm that swept up the crushed stones and scattered them in all directions. Wang Lin's face was pale and he coughed out a mouthful of blood. The protective light around his body suddenly shattered and the Pangdit-size ring on his finger turned to dust. Wang Lin's body was immediately thrown back. Master Cloud's soul was behind Wang Lin, so with Wang Lin in front, the impact he had to endure was much less. However, his origin soul still trembled and all the meridians in his body were broken. Even a large amount of his bones collapsed and turned into blood. The old woman in green was far away, so she wasn't affected much. She also desperately flew into the air, which was why she was able to avoid the impact. However, the remaining force almost caused her body to collapse. She had originally thought that she had escaped this calamity and was secretly rejoicing. However, her expression immediately changed. She turned around and wanted to retreat, but it was already too late. Behind her, the index finger of the palm whistled through the air and directly touched her body at an unimaginable speed. With a bang, the old woman in green's body turned into a blood mist. Her origin soul struggled to escape, but Wang Lin, who was also retreating, waved his sleeve and collected her origin soul. Half of the 5 fingers of the palm formed by the 7-colored realm had disappeared, but the pinky that had lost half a finger hadn't completely dissipated. Instead, it was absorbing origin energy like crazy and was rapidly reforming. Once this half-finger reformed, everything Wang Lin had done would be for nothing. At this moment of crisis, at this moment of life and death, Wang Lin's eyes were filled with battle intent as he charged at the index finger of the old woman in green. He had to be fast. Aside from the index finger, the other 3 fingers were closing in as well. He could imagine that once these fingers reformed and formed a fist, he would have no chance of surviving. He had encountered countless dangers in his life, but the one that brought him danger was the strongest one he had ever encountered. As the index finger closed in, Wang Lin's left hand reached at the void and Master Ashenpine's pseudo-nirvana void treasure, the crystal sword, appeared in his hand. He coughed out blood and poured it onto the sword. He didn't hesitate to activate the full potential of the pseudo-nirvana void treasure and threw it at the index finger. The crystal sword immediately released a heaven-shaking sword hymn, and a monstrous amount of sword energy shot out at the index finger. Pseudo-nirvana void treasures were rare in the 4 realms. This kind of treasure could be considered extremely powerful. When it charged out, it immediately possessed a power that could slice apart the heavens and split the earth. It instantly collided with the descending index finger of the palm. A thunderous rumble echoed. Wang Lin's roar seemed a bit insignificant, but it caused the crystal sword to release an even stronger attack. Shattering sword! The moment Wang Lin's words echoed, the crystal sword shattered, creating an unimaginably powerful impact that caused the index finger to pause. Wang Lin didn't have time to feel heartache. His left hand quickly waved outside his storage space, and another treasure appeared. The same pseudo-nirvana void aura spread out. Master Ashenpine still had a pseudo-nirvana void treasure in his bag of holding. It was a green axe that had been refined with an unknown material and had a large amount of seals on it. Begging for monthly votes. Chapter 1226. At this moment, Wang Lin took it out and left a trail of blood on it. Then he waved it and it turned into a ray of green light that shot toward the index finger. The power of this index finger was even stronger than the pinky finger. The moment the crystal sword landed on it, it collapsed, creating a heaven-shaking impact. However, it only caused the finger to pause for a moment and not break. However, just as it paused, the green light closed in and the axe landed on it. Under Wang Lin's control, a destructive aura erupted from the axe. This aura rushed into the sky and all the seals on the axe were broken, allowing the destructive force to rush out. Thunderous rumbles echoed across the world once more. In this battle, Wang Lin had risked everything and used all his spells. 2 pseudo-nirvana void treasures had collapsed. The violent rumbles continued to echo, and a shockwave comparable to the one when the pinky finger collapsed began to spread. Master Cloud Soul's body could no longer withstand it and collapse. His flesh and blood splattered everywhere and his origin soul flew out. He had a miserable expression, but even more so, he was filled with confusion and desolation. At the center of the impact, the index finger hadn't collapsed, but countless cracks had appeared on it. As the impact continued, it mercilessly smashed down on Wang Lin. At this moment, the sky seemed to be replaced by the index finger, and the world became dark. Seeing the index finger close in, Wang Lin let out a roar and his eyes became even more bloodshot. The madness in his eyes became even stronger. His body flashed and the ancient god furnace appeared. The ancient god furnace was one of the 2 ancient god treasures Wang Lin had, and 2C had personally refined it. For Wang Lin, he couldn't use the full power of this treasure, and it had a deeper meaning for him. However, at this moment of life and death, Wang Lin was risking everything. If I die, what use is a treasure? I don't believe I can't break your index finger. Wang Lin let out a roar and the ancient god furnace seemed to become corporeal. It surrounded his body and collided with the index finger. There was a thunderous bang and Wang Lin felt like he had been smashed by a cultivation planet. He coughed out blood once more and his face turned pale. He was seriously injured. The ancient god furnace trembled violently as Wang Lin's body continued to descend under the push of the index finger. Collapse for me! Wang Lin's body suddenly stopped and stopped his descent. At this moment, aside from the index finger, the remaining 3 fingers closed in. They replaced everything in the sky and descended like crazy. Wang Lin's expression was ferocious and revealed a hint of madness. A heaven-defying will rushed out from his body. The more dangerous his life was, the more unyielding he became. He was a hero in life and a hero in death. The moment Wang Lin said collapse, the ancient god temple around him rumbled and rotated rapidly. A shocking aura spread out and turned into a storm. The ancient god furnace collapsed into countless fragments and flew toward the index finger. The thunderous rumbles caused Wang Lin's origin soul to tremble. His mind was seriously injured and blood filled his body. That arrogant index finger suddenly collapsed. It wasn't like the pinky finger, where only half a finger had collapsed, but the entire finger had collapsed into rubble. Wang Lin looked dispirited, but his battle intent became even stronger. As his body collapsed, he wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and his left hand reached out to take away Master Cloud Soul's dying origin soul. At this moment, he was the only living person left in the 7-colored realm. 2 of the 5 fingers that had fused with the 7-colored realm had shattered. However, even the completely shattered index finger was absorbing origin energy like crazy and rapidly recovering. Time didn't allow Wang Lin to think too much. If he wanted to leave the 7-colored realm alive, he would have to risk his life. The remaining 3 fingers continued to close in and the thunderous rumbles echoed in his ears. It was as if the world was going to destroy all life as it shot toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin panted heavily as he used spells and treasures one by one. The star of law between his eyebrows rotated rapidly and he was shrouded in battle intent. Aside from the thumb that was the strongest and the slowest, the middle and ring fingers closed in almost at the same time. Wang Lin couldn't face 2 fingers at the same time. He mercilessly threw the trident he had been holding in his right hand. The trident turned into a ray of black light and shot toward the ring finger. After blocking for a moment, Wang Lin flew out toward the middle finger. Like a shooting star, the star of law between his eyebrows rotated. Immediately, blue flames ignited all over his body. His white hair instantly retreated from the roots and was quickly engulfed by the blue flames. The flames soared into the sky and swept across the land. If one looked from afar, they would clearly see that the giant palm was holding a sea of blue fire. At the center of the sea of fire was the tall and unyielding Wang Lin. At the instant the flames burned, thunderous roars rang out, and bolts of lightning shot out like silver snakes and exploded in the palm. The bolts of lightning shuttled through the sea of flames and swam between the palm's fingers, letting out crackling sounds. More and more lightning bolts appeared, surrounding the gigantic palm. It was a beautiful sight to behold. In this scene, a giant palm holding blue flames was surrounded by a net of lightning. This scene would be unforgettable to anyone who saw it. Inside the blue flames, the star of law between Wang Lin's eyebrows flickered violently. The surrounding sea of fire rushed toward the middle finger. He was very fast, and his hands collided with the middle finger. The moment they collided, the blue flames around Wang Lin gathered like crazy. With his body as the center, they moved toward the middle finger. This scene was like Wang Lin was covered in monstrous flames as he engaged in a life-and-death battle with the middle finger. Either you collapse or I die. There was no retreat, so he had to fight. Thunderous rumbles echoed as the blue flames charged at the middle finger like crazy. Wang Lin's face was pale and blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. He had personally faced the middle finger and clearly felt the power inside. It was enough to make his body tremble, and his body was rapidly being pressed down. "I'm unwilling!" Wang Lin's angry roar was heaven-shaking. He was unwilling at all. In the seven-colored realm, he had devoured the Tao fruit and his cultivation level had taken a big step forward. He had also saved 10,000 years and was half a step into the Nirvana Shatterer stage. However, at the moment he was about to leave, he had experienced a life-and-death crisis. He was unwilling. As he roared, the monstrous silver snakes of thunder gathered like crazy and charged toward the middle finger along with the blue flames. The thunderous rumbles were louder than anything before and caused large amounts of cracks to appear in the sky. The moment these cracks appeared, they were immediately torn open and continued to expand. However, although this thunderous rumble was loud, it couldn't cover up Wang Lin's unwilling words. "I'm unwilling!" The star of law between Wang Lin's eyebrows rotated even faster. While Wang Lin's body was still sinking, the Tao fruit power that Wang Lin had absorbed and sealed suddenly erupted. This power wasn't extremely strong, but when it fused with the thunder and fire and Wang Lin's battle domain, it formed a new law. It was a law of the world, and this law belonged to Wang Lin alone. The moment this law erupted, distortions appeared around Wang Lin's body. It was as if time had overlapped and the world didn't allow it. The distortion became larger and larger until it covered the entire middle finger. Wang Lin let out a roar like crazy, and the moment this new law appeared, his body stopped sinking. Not only did he stop sinking, but the moment Wang Lin's veins swelled, he lifted the middle finger and charged into the sky. The distorted ripples surrounded the middle finger. As the thunder and fire fused with law and Wang Lin charged in, the finger collapsed with a bang. The moment it collapsed, Wang Lin was knocked back and landed on the ground. He landed on the palm and blood dyed his body red. The star of law between his eyebrows gradually disappeared. At this moment, he was seriously injured, but the moment he landed, Wang Lin's feet stomped on the ground and he charged toward the ring finger. The trident stabbed into the ring finger and slightly blocked it, giving Wang Lin a chance. However, if he gave up now, all his previous efforts would have been wasted. In Wang Lin's life, he had only risked his life like this once, and that was when he fought against Tian Yunzi in the Demon Spirit Land. This was the second time in his nearly 2,000 years of cultivation. A tragic aura came from Wang Lin's body. His face was pale and he was seriously injured, but his battle intent didn't decrease at all. Instead, it became even more intense. There was a kind of person that was born to fight, born to slaughter, born to defy the heavens. Wang Lin was this kind of person. After fusing with Zhang Xingye's battle domain, Wang Lin was even more so. One's life is worth 1,000 thoughts, but what's the point of cherishing death? However, this death must be worthy and worthy of death. Wang Lin laughed. His laughter was heaven-shaking and could make ghosts and gods cry. Even the unchanging expression of the mysterious existence that had used this palm across the inner and outer realms changed slightly. If you can survive this palm, then I won't kill you. A tired voice echoed across the world. You're the sovereign of the outer realm. Wang Lin flew toward the ring finger. Old man Blue Silk Clan's Dao Master Blue Dream. The voice was filled with reminiscence as it slowly echoed. The third update is here. Continue writing and end the 7-colored realm today. Asking for monthly votes. Asking for monthly votes. Chapter 12:27. After he finished speaking, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he sped up. The 6 ancient god stars between his eyebrows rotated rapidly and ancient god power filled his body. His body expanded like crazy and he instantly became an ancient god thousands of feet tall. As he let out a roar, Wang Lin swung his fist. As the ring finger closed in, he grabbed the trident and his right foot landed on the ring finger. There was a thunderous bang and Wang Lin's body trembled. Even his ancient god body felt like it was going to collapse. He let out a roar and borrowed this force to pull out the trident. The ring finger formed by the mountain trembled under Wang Lin's kick, but it didn't slow down and charged at Wang Lin. Thunderous rumbles echoed and Wang Lin revealed a ferocious expression. At this moment, he had used all his spells, treasures, and law, but he was still trapped by this palm. It seemed like no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't escape Dao Master Blue Dream's palm. However, it was impossible to make him yield with just this. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with madness. As the ring finger continued to descend, he charged up and began a frenzied attack. Ancient god power was contained in every attack. Under this crazy attack, even a cultivation planet would collapse. However, the ring finger continued to descend as if it wanted to crush Wang Lin to death. The world continued to rumble and Wang Lin let out a roar. Even though he was an ancient god, he felt an unprecedented sense of frustration from this finger. All of his attacks couldn't make the ring finger collapse, and as he continued to bombard the ring finger, the thumb, the most powerful part of the palm, slowly descended. What made Wang Lin feel even more bitter was that the other 3 fingers were rapidly absorbing origin energy and recovering. It seemed like it wouldn't be long before the 3 fingers that he had destroyed with all his effort would appear again. Could this 7-colored realm be my Wang Lin's grave? Wang Lin's eyes were as red as a ghost as he continued to bombard the ring finger. He clenched his teeth and let out a roar at the sky. There were 6 rotating stars between his eyebrows, and the blurry 6th star suddenly gave off a crazed ancient god aura. This aura was heaven-shaking, and as it swept by, even the ring finger trembled slightly. Shattering star! After Wang Lin called himself an ancient god, he had faced countless dangers in his life. However, this was the first time he had chosen to shatter a star. The moment he let out a heaven-shaking roar, the 6th star between his eyebrows suddenly collapsed. This collapsing force turned into a storm and was absorbed by Wang Lin's body like crazy. This caused his ancient god power to increase greatly and a thunderous rumble came from his body. At this moment, his thousands of feet tall body expanded like crazy. In a flash, a giant more than 20,000 feet tall appeared in his palm. Borrowing the power of the shattered star, Wang Lin's ancient god body obtained the power of a 7-star royal ancient god. With a roar, Wang Lin rushed out. The earth trembled as a crazy aura surrounded him. Wang Lin charged toward the ring finger. He was prepared to shatter 5 stars in a row today. Today's battle would be the most difficult battle of his life. In this battle, either his body would collapse, his origin soul would dissipate, his Tao would return, and his nearly 2,000 years of cultivation would disappear. There would be millions of people named Wang Lin in this world, but none of them would be him. Or the 5 fingers that would collapse would be able to withstand the power of this palm and walk out of the 7-colored realm that almost became his grave. For Wang Lin, the 7-colored realm was both his success and his death. With this madness and a lifetime of unwillingness, Wang Lin seemed to burn himself. He borrowed the power of the shattered star to become a 7-star ancient god and charged toward the ring finger. I can't die, I can't accept this. I still haven't revived Wan Air. I still haven't revived Ping Air. I still haven't fulfilled my filial piety to my dead parents. I still haven't finished my struggle against fate. I still have many promises I haven't fulfilled. I can't die. Wang Lin closed in on the descending ring finger. His right hand formed a fist, and he threw a punch filled with unwillingness. This punch was a punch from a 7-star royal ancient god, a punch from the collapse of his 6th star. It was a punch filled with unwillingness from Wang Lin's nearly 2,000 years of cultivation. As the punch was thrown, the sky changed color. As the rumbling sounds rang out, the 3 fingers that had been continuously reforming after collapsing immediately trembled. Even the palm paused for a moment. It was as if everything in heaven and earth, everything that existed everywhere, had come to a complete stop. Wang Lin's fist landed on the ring finger, and the power from the shattered star rushed into the ring finger. Wang Lin's body rapidly shrank from tens of thousands of feet to only 1,000 feet. However, in the process of shrinking his body, he had completely unleashed the full power attack of a 7-star ancient god from a royal family. Collapse for your father! Wang Lin's roar drowned out the shocking sound of the ring finger collapsing. The ring finger formed by the mountain trembled violently. Countless cracks appeared on the spot where Wang Lin's fist landed, and the ring finger collapsed. Wang Lin's body was weak and blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. He laughed bitterly as he was knocked back by the impact of the ring finger collapsing. At this moment, the most powerful attack, the thumb that was comparable to the 4 fingers from before, arrived. If a person's hand were to be clenched into a fist, the little finger and index finger would be first, followed by the middle finger and the ring finger. The last one would be the thumb. The strength of the thumb was extremely strong. With a press, it could completely destroy anything in the palm. This was the most powerful attack. Wang Lin knew that even if all his remaining stars collapsed, he wouldn't be able to escape. However, sitting around and waiting for death wasn't something Wang Lin could do. I'm a hero in life and a hero in death. Cultivators like us never shrink from a fight. I, Wang Lin, have cultivated for nearly 2,000 years. If I was still immortal, I would have already turned to dust. Now that I have a longer lifespan than mortals, there is no regret in dying. What is there to be afraid of? Wang Lin let out a hearty laugh, as if he had seen through everything. The moment the thumb closed in, he charged forward. Father, mother, if there is a next life, Taiju will not cultivate. I will smile with you for 100 years. Situ, we will never meet again. Senior brother Shimizu, junior brother can't save you. Wan Er, I'll go with you. Mu Bingmei, our grudge is written off. Wang Ping, our family can reunite. And Li Qianmei, you love me. Although Wang Lin's heart has died, at this moment, what harm is there in taking you away? Wang Lin laughed as he waved his left hand. A blue bracelet flew out from his storage space. This bracelet shined brightly like a star and gave off an indescribable aura. The moment it appeared, it automatically flew to Wang Lin's left wrist. The blue light gave off a gentle glow and surrounded Wang Lin's body. It seemed to contain a trace of warmth from 100 years ago and 100 years later. Surrounded by the blue light, Wang Lin and the thumb instantly closed in. However, just as the bracelet appeared and landed on Wang Lin's wrist, a voice filled with disbelief echoed in this world. This is... The ancient voice trembled and was filled with indescribable excitement. The descending thumb quickly lifted up, allowing Wang Lin to rush out from the edge and into the sky. This sudden scene startled Wang Lin, but he didn't hesitate. As he flew out, his hands formed a seal. He followed Master Ashenpine's seal and quickly opened a rift that led back to the cloud sea. His body moved like lightning and charged into the rift. The moment he disappeared, the palm formed by the seven-colored realm didn't chase after him and slowly lowered itself. Treat her well. Vaguely, as Wang Lin's mind moved through the rift, he heard the ancient voice. The exhaustion in the voice became even stronger, and there was a hint of indescribable complexity in it. Wang Lin left and the palm formed by the seven-colored realm gradually collapsed. Large amounts of rubble fell off as if the spell that had just entered was slowly leaving. You err. The ancient voice gradually dissipated. At this moment, in the depths of the ancient star system, there was an ancient clan called the Blue Silk Clan. The star domain they occupied was boundless. Within this star field there was an ordinary-looking planet, and on it was a mountain. This mountain was shrouded in blue light year-round, so it was called Blue Mountain by the mortals there. At the top of the mountain, there was a simple hut that stood in the wind. At this moment, the door to the hut was pushed open and a tired middle-aged man walked out. He looked at the sky and his eyes gradually became blurry as if there were tears in them. His hair was blue. It was like the sky, giving him a melancholic aura. If anyone from the outer realm saw this, their mind would tremble. One of the 5 masters of the ancient star system, Tao Master Blue Dream, had a moment where he couldn't control his mind. Tao Master Blue Dream was a legend in the ancient star system. The Blue Silk Clan was originally a small clan, but because of this person, they became a large clan that almost no one dared to provoke. Meng Er, our daughter has reincarnated. Before she entered the reincarnation cycle, she wore your bracelet. That bracelet contains the blessing she inherited from your Cloud Dream clan. If she hadn't personally given it to someone else, even if they obtained the bracelet, they wouldn't have received her blessing, the man murmured with a look of reminiscence. After a long time, ripples appeared in the space before him, and an old man in white walked out. The moment the old man appeared, he immediately bowed respectfully. Tao Master, my teacher. Before the old man finished speaking, the middle-aged man didn't even look at him and only said one word. Scram. The old man's heart trembled, but he didn't dare to say more. Although he was the sovereign's disciple, he didn't dare to offend one of the 5 masters of the ancient star system, someone who could stand on the same level as his teacher. He immediately disappeared into the ripples. If this child had nothing to do with Yuer, it would be fine, but how could I hurt someone who gave our daughter her blessing? Even if this child has the heaven-defying bead, so what? My Tao relies on myself and nothing else. What does the sovereign's greed have to do with me? Also, the heaven-defying bead belonged to the sovereign of the sealed realm. If I can't open its seal, it might not be a blessing, but a disaster. The sovereign of the sealed realm is the best example. As for the seal, difficult. The 9 7-colored realms were originally created by the sovereign of the sealed realm and then obtained by my ancient star system. The only power I had was that palm, and after that palm I had to retreat. However, although the sovereign has been in closed-door cultivation for tens of thousands of years, he is too cunning. I fear he has another purpose for making me act. Back then, the sovereign sneaked into the inner realm but returned with serious injuries. When he escaped, his warning spread across the ancient star system. Every time I think about it, I feel awe. The place where the 7-colored flowers Tao seed is sealed by the sovereign. Aside from the flower farmer's avatar, no one else can enter. They say that they are afraid of disturbing the Tao and causing the 7-colored flowers Tao seed to fail, but what actually happened? And this child is not ordinary. His cultivation is heaven-shaking, he has the body of a royal ancient god, and his personality is similar to mine. With his current strength, he was able to break 4 of my fingers. Among the juniors, even in the ancient star system, he can be considered the strongest. If he is given time, he will definitely reach the Void Realm. He also has the blessing of Yu-Air. I let Yu-Air down in her previous life, but in this life, I won't let anyone hurt her. I'll do the same to the person she blesses. Even the sovereign won't be able to. The man looked at the sky and tears flowed down. His life's exhaustion came from the pain of losing his wife and the regret of losing his daughter. The story of the seven-colored realm is complete. I feel like it was written pretty well. It has achieved the effect of connecting the previous and the following. I feel like it was very satisfactory and easy to write. Now, it's time for Wang Lin to show his might. Everyone, let's wait and see. Now that the seven-colored realm is complete, I hope everyone can give me a monthly ticket to encourage me. Chapter 12:28. In the Cloud Sea, after 100 years of silence, the competition between the rank 8 sects was about to begin. The competition between the rank 8 sects that happened once every 1,000 years was a grand event in the Cloud Sea. It wasn't just one rank 8 sect, but all of the rank 8 sections. The branch sects of each sect would come to the main sect for a new round of assessment. The winning branch sects would receive rewards and attention from the main sect. The outstanding disciples would be kept by the main sect to become disciples of the main sect and be trained. As for the losers, their status would often drop for the next 1,000 years until they were abandoned by the main sect. The remaining disciples would be sent to the remaining branch sections. The origin sect had declined over the countless years, and this was their last chance. If things continued like before, then the origin sect would be disbanded by the main sect. The disciples, including Lu Yanfei and the others, would all be sent to the other branch sections. From then on, the origin sect would no longer exist. Then the main sect would select more disciples to form new branch sects to keep the scale the same. They couldn't accept this, but they didn't dare to refuse. Once they did, the result would be the destruction of their sect. After all, the origin sect was only a branch sect. This cruel method was used to keep the strength of the rank 8 sects rising. Until one day, when most of the branch sects of a rank 8 sect had grown extremely powerful, the God sect would grant them the status of a rank 9 sect. Rumor had it that the Heaven-Breaking sect and Ghost sect were all like this. The rank 8 region had 5 sections. They were the Everlasting sect, Shadow Wind sect, Rainbow Road sect, Heaven Retribution sect, and Silent Soul sect. The Origin sect and the Purple Tao sect were branches of the rank 8 Everlasting sect. This grand ceremony wasn't a chaotic battle between all the branch sections. It would be held according to the rank of the star system. In the end, the strongest sect in each rank 4 to 7 region would be chosen. Of course, one could also challenge people above their rank. For example, the Purple Tao sect from 1,000 years ago had challenged the strongest sect in the rank 6 region. Although they had lost with honor and were valued by the rank 8 Everlasting sect. Every rank 8 sect would invite people from the rank 9 region to watch the grand ceremony. If there was a disciple they liked, they could ask for it. Although the rank 8 sects were helpless, they couldn't refuse. Fortunately, but sadly, there were simply too few people that caught the attention of the rank 9 section. In the past 10,000 years, only 3 had caught the attention. After the grand competition between the rank 8 sects, the 3 strongest disciples of the branch sects would be chosen to have a real battle against the remaining 4 rank 8 sections. This battle was extremely important. Although the rank 8 sects couldn't personally participate and there were strict checks from the rank 9 region, the competition between the branch sects allowed them to see a portion of the strength of the rank 8 sections. This part of their strength was shown to the rank 9 sections. If the rank 8 sect could last 10,000 years, then they would have some of the rank 8 sect's strength. If they could maintain this for 10,000 years, they would have. Therefore, for such an important competition, the rank 8 sects often began to prepare early. Almost all the 3 spots for the final competition had been decided. Although they weren't brought back to the main sect, they were treated like core disciples of the main sect, and some of the main sect's people personally went to teach them. After the heaven-breaking sect left, there had been a total of 17 competitions in the rank 8 region, and there were wins and losses. However, 10,000 years ago, the rise of the Silent Soul sect allowed them to take first place 9 times in a row. This was the 18th competition after the heaven-breaking sect left. If the Silent Soul sect won again, then it would only be a matter of time before they became a rank 9 sect. The grand ceremony in the Cloud Sea that happened once every 1,000 years was extremely lively and often lasted for several months before it ended. During this time, various markets and trading places would gather in the rank 8 region. Naturally, there would be swindlers that would benefit from this. Not every swindler could be like a fish in water in a grand ceremony like this. However, there was one person who managed to obtain a lot of benefits from this ceremony. This person appeared almost once every 1,000 years, and he had countless aliases. Every 1,000 years, he would change his name. Often, the sect that was swindled wouldn't say anything about it out of fear of losing face. Even if they secretly investigated, they would find nothing. This was because the sects he chose were often chosen after careful consideration. The sects he chose were all like the Origin sect, weak sects that were about to be disbanded and had no hope of winning. These sects would all be disbanded after the competition, so how could they find trouble with the swindler? Naturally, they would just leave it at that. Even if they said they had been swindled, even if someone believed them, they would still be laughed at, so it was better not to say anything. The Big Dipper sect was a weak sect in the rank 5 region, and their main sect was the rank 8 Ing Tian sect. This competition filled the entire Big Dipper sect with a gloomy atmosphere. Their situation was the same as the Origin sect, they always placed last. If they failed this time, it would be difficult for them to escape the fate of being disbanded. The competition will be in 1 month, and we will all be teleported to the rank 8 region. Aside from my Big Dipper sect, there are 3 other main sects in the rank 5 region. My Big Dipper sect always placed last, and this time, alas, there were 3 old men sitting in the main hall of the Big Dipper sect. They were all frowning. Their faces were filled with helplessness, confusion, and a hint of unwillingness. Once they were disbanded, although they would be sent to other sects, their status would plummet. They would be ridiculed for the rest of their lives and wouldn't be valued. Shame would follow them for the rest of their lives. One of the old men bitterly said, "The other 3 sects are all much stronger than my Big Dipper sect. We have no hope at all, unless a miracle appears. Otherwise, it will be difficult." The other old man let out a sigh and looked around with nostalgia. He knew that after he left in 1 month, he wouldn't be able to return. It would be difficult for the Big Dipper sect to escape the fate of disbanding. The 3 of them fell silent. The entire hall was enveloped by an oppressive aura. Just at this moment, a sharp whistling sound suddenly came from the heavens and earth. This whistling sound shook the heavens and the earth, causing the 3 of them to immediately raise their heads. A jade slip broke the Tiangang sect's mountain protecting array with a bang, penetrated the roof of the main hall, and descended directly, floating in the main hall in the middle of the 4. An extremely powerful aura spread out from the jade slip and instantly filled the entire hall. As it spread out, it filled the entire Big Dipper sect, causing the continent where Big Dipper sect was located to tremble. Under this aura, the expressions of the 4 old men changed greatly. They all stood up and stared at the jade. Their minds trembled and fear appeared in their hearts. This unimaginably powerful aura made them feel the power of a Nirvana Shatterer spell. At the same time, an arrogant voice came from the jade and echoed across the hall. Zhu Yunming, born on the Heavenly Sea continent, started cultivating at the age of 7 and entered the Big Dipper sect. More than 200 years later, he reached the core formation stage, and 600 years later, he reached the nascent soul stage and became the sect master of the Big Dipper sect. Luo Tsonggang, born on the Heavenly Sea continent. His father is Luo Haitao. Until now, he has used a large amount of pills to forcefully increase his cultivation level and has stopped at the early stage of Nirvana Scryer. Zhou Chun, not from the Heavenly Sea continent, he was born on the Zhou Wu continent and entered the Big Dipper sect halfway through. Until now, he has been stuck at the corporeal Yang stage for 735 years. The three of you, is there any falsehood in what the old man said? Everything Senior said is correct. I wonder who Senior is? The three of them were terrified. What the voice had said was extremely detailed, and there were many things they had forgotten. However, this person knew everything and was shocked by the Nirvana Shatter aura. Their bodies trembled and they felt like their souls were about to leave their bodies. The old man, Lu Jinbiao. His Taoist name is Master Jin Biao. The three of them became serious. Although they had never heard of this name, just this jade contained the aura of a Nirvana Shatterer cultivator and clearly knew everything about them made them even more respectful. Zhu Yunming took a deep breath and suppressed the nervousness in his heart. He bowed and asked, "Why did Senior come here? You all are facing imminent disaster and still don't know it. The old man will make it clear to you all. 3 days ago there was someone who delivered your life story to me. He was willing to pay the price of 60,000 crystals for this old man to take your life." After he spoke, the expressions of the three of them changed greatly. However, the old man has no grievance with your Big Dipper sect. Although he urgently needs origin crystals to refine pills, he doesn't want to do such a thing. However, if there is really no other way, I can only take your lives. The voice gradually became gloomy and fused with the Nirvana Shatterer aura from the jade. This caused the three of them to immediately turn pale. Senior, of course, this is not what the old man wants. If the three of you can also take out 60,000 origin crystals or something of equal value, then this matter will be dropped. Not only will the old man not kill you, but he will also help you avoid the danger of your Big Dipper sect being disbanded. 60,000 origin crystals. The three of them trembled and were filled with fear. Although they had doubts, they were powerless before the Nirvana Shatterer aura and the detailed life story. We don't have that many origin crystals. The old man's time is limited, so I will only give you 15 minutes to consider. If you refuse, the old man will have no choice but to slaughter his way in. If you don't have origin crystals, you can take out something of equal value. While Lu Jinbiao was displaying his spell, in the depths of the rank 5 region, there was a wild continent that rumbled as if it was hit by a powerful force. The earth trembled and countless cracks appeared. Shortly after, a white-haired figure charged out from the bottom of the wild continent. Wang Lin's face was pale and he coughed out a mouthful of blood. However, his divine sense immediately spread out and locked onto the 7-colored rift below the wild continent. This rift was no longer 7-colored. Under Wang Lin's divine sense, it immediately closed and disappeared. Seeing this, Wang Lin's expression became gloomy. Finally, his gaze fell on the jade bracelet on his wrist. At this moment, the bracelet was no longer blue but emerald green. After a long time, Wang Lin raised his head. He looked at the cloud sea and muttered, "Wang, I'm back. Lu Jinbiao, watch how I torture you to death. Monthly votes to help me get revenge." Chapter 12:29. Wang Lin's return didn't cause any ripples during the grand ceremony in the rank 8 region, and no one knew of his existence. After all, he was almost unknown in the Cloud Sea. Even without the grand ceremony in the rank 8 region, Wang Lin's return was still as calm as an ancient well. No one would have guessed that his rise to fame in the Cloud Sea would begin at this moment. After withdrawing his gaze from the stars, Wang Lin sat down. This wild continent was a bit remote, so very few people came here. Wang Lin guessed that with the competition of the main sect about to begin, it would be even rarer for people to come here. While pondering, Wang Lin recalled everything that had happened in the 7-colored realm, and felt melancholy. 7 people went, but only I returned. I was at the early stage of Nirvana cleanser, and now. Although Wang Lin's eyes were tired, there was a flash of light and he muttered, I'm now half a step into the Nirvana Shatterer stage. Everything that had happened in the seven-colored realm appeared in Wang Lin's mind. Zhan Xingye's skeleton, Sima Mo's cave, Rosefinch's third awakening, absorbing the lightning from the outer realm, the lost ones, the enlightened ones, and the Tao scripture that he didn't know was real or fake. He also vaguely discovered Tian Yunzi's secret, saw the imitation heaven-defying bead, and learned of the existence of the defying ones. He battled Master Ashen Pine and obtained the seven-colored nail. He battled the white-haired old man, devoured the Tao fruit, opened the heaven-defying bead, and seriously injured the flower grower. Most importantly, not only did his cultivation level increase, the mosquito beast also underwent a metamorphosis. He obtained the time restriction and the two strange short swords that were stabbed into the mysterious deer bones. All of this made Wang Lin excited. 100 years of time had passed, but the difference between the past and the present was like heaven and earth. The world is fickle, and everyone has their own gains and losses. In the battle against Master Ashen Pine, the pseudo-Nirvana Void sword that has accompanied me for many years was split in half. In the battle against Tao Master Blue Dream, the crystal sword collapsed, the battle axe collapsed, and even my ancient god furnace collapsed. Most importantly, my blurry sixth star shattered. Wang Lin sighed and muttered, luckily, the star of rules formed by the concept is still here. Although the blurry sixth ancient god star has collapsed, as long as my body experiences the second trial of the ancient god, I will definitely be able to recover. Or, if there is another opportunity, it will be much easier for me to recover than to climb up. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. After carefully weighing the gains and losses, he knew that compared to what he lost, his gains from this trip to the seven-colored realm were far too great. He waved his right hand and a crack to his storage space appeared. 2 dying origin souls flew out. These 2 origin souls were the ones with the lightning mark and fire mark in the seven-colored realm. Wang Lin didn't kill their origin souls but took them away. His right hand pressed down on their heads and searched their memories by force. As he searched, the 2 origin souls trembled and let out miserable cries. They gradually weakened until they collapsed. Wang Lin inhaled and began to heal. In the seven-colored realm, Wang Lin had searched the origin soul of the youth from the slave clan, and now he searched the other 2. His understanding of the outer realm gradually increased. His eyes lit up and he muttered, Ancient Star System. 5 Masters of the Ancient Star System. While pondering, Wang Lin took out a large amount of healing pills and swallowed them one by one. His hands formed a seal, and he closed his eyes to cultivate. Although he was healing, his divine sense was spread out. If there was any movement, he would immediately awaken. As Wang Lin absorbed, the origin energy in the world gathered and was absorbed into his body. Time slowly passed. 3 days later, Wang Lin opened his eyes. His gaze was like lightning, as if it could pierce through the clouds before him. He stood up. His physical injuries hadn't completely healed, but they wouldn't affect his battle. He would need some time to recover, but the injuries to his origin soul were very serious. It would be difficult for him to recover in a short period of time. Wang Lin pondered a bit. There was still a stabbing pain coming from his origin soul. Just thinking about Tao Master Blue Dream's palm still shocked him. Is this the strength of the third step? Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly. Sooner or later, Wang will also reach this step. Wang Lin looked down at the bracelet on his wrist and let out a sigh. He took it off and put it away in his storage space. He waved his right hand and 3 origin souls flew out from his storage space. The first origin soul was Chen Tianjun. Although it was only half complete and was in a dying state, it was extremely blurry. It was as if the wind would blow and it would dissipate. Wang Lin had promised to take him out of the seven-colored realm. Although he had done it, Chen Tianjuan's body had collapsed and his origin soul could be destroyed at any time. While pondering, Wang Lin's divine sense spread out and slowly entered Chen Tianjuan's blurry origin soul. Fellow cultivator Chen, we have left the seven-colored realm. Wang Lin sent out a message from Chen Tianjuan's origin soul. Thank you, fellow cultivator. Please, help me one more time. Send me back to the Battle Beast sect. My teacher can save me. Chen Tianjuan's origin soul was too weak. After sending out that message, his origin soul became even more blurry. Okay. Wang Lin agreed. He waved his right hand and put away Chen Tianjuan's origin soul. His gaze fell on the second origin soul. It was the old woman in green. At this moment, her eyes were closed. Although her origin soul was blurry, it hadn't collapsed. She was far from as weak as Chen Tianjun, and there was still Wang Lin's seal on her origin soul. Wang Lin's right hand formed a seal and pointed forward. The seal on the old woman's origin soul was released. A moment later, the old woman opened her eyes and looked around. Then she looked at Wang Lin and silently pondered. Although her origin soul wasn't seriously injured, the fourth ancestor's cultivation method was broken. Her cultivation level had fallen greatly, and she was only at the mid-stage of Nirvana cleanser. Wang Lin didn't speak. He just coldly stared at the old woman's origin soul. The surroundings were completely silent, and this silence slowly turned into a pressure that shrouded the old woman's origin soul. She revealed a bitter expression and softly said, "Fellow cultivator Liu, this old woman is willing to offer the life and death restriction in exchange for the rest of my life. If you don't believe me, you can search my soul and obtain it yourself. I just hope that fellow cultivator can let this old woman leave. After all, there is no deep hatred between the two of us." Her words were sincere, but in truth, she no longer had any intention of causing trouble for Wang Lin. She thought she had completely understood how powerful Wang Lin was, but she didn't expect him to survive a palm from someone far stronger than her. This caused her heart to tremble and fill with fear. At this moment, she only hoped to survive. To her, the seven-colored realm was like a nightmare. Wang Lin looked at the old woman's origin soul, and after a long time, he placed his right hand on her forehead. His divine sense spread out, and as the old woman trembled, he found the life and death restriction in her memory. A moment later, Wang Lin waved his right hand and a gust of wind appeared. The old woman's origin soul was pushed away from the wild continent and into the stars. It wasn't until they were tens of thousands of kilometers away that the wind dissipated. The old woman's origin soul trembled and her eyes were filled with even more awe. She bowed toward Wang Lin and left. The last origin soul was Master Cloud Soul. Since he had taken him as a slave, Wang Lin wouldn't mistreat him, but now was not the time to heal him. Wang Lin waved his sleeves and put Master Cloud Soul's origin soul into his storage space. Wang Lin pondered a bit and then took out the imitation heaven-defying bead he had obtained in the seven-colored realm. He picked up one and inserted his divine sense into it. Just as Wang Lin expected, once this bead left the seven-colored realm, it would be useless. Unfortunately, Wang Lin frowned and was about to put it away when his divine sense suddenly moved. After thinking about it carefully, his divine sense entered the 18 Hell Celestial Sealing Stamp and locked onto Tian Yunzi's battle soul. Wang Lin's aura suddenly changed, as if he had become Tian Yunzi. His eyes were calm, and there was a faint, seven-colored glow in them. Even his body seemed to give off a faint, seven-colored glow. He held the imitation heaven-defying bead in his hand. The moment his divine sense spread out, the bead released a dazzling, seven-colored glow and showed signs of being activated. Wang Lin clearly felt that as long as he summoned it, the sealed-defying bead would appear in the world. This discovery immediately surprised Wang Lin. He took a deep breath and dissipated the fusion with Tian Yunzi's battle soul. The light from the bead immediately disappeared, and it returned to its original state. After putting away the bead, Wang Lin's heart relaxed. Although he was injured, these beads gave him a strong protection before he recovered. The most important thing right now is to heal as soon as possible. I also need to go to the Wind's celestial realm and obtain the mosquito herd. That way, I can move freely in the Cloud Sea. As for the competition between the Origin sect's main sect, it will last for several months, so there is no need to rush. Right now, I need to go to the Wind's celestial realm as soon as possible. Wang Lin made up his mind. He turned into a ray of light and flew toward the stars at an extremely fast speed. He had obtained a large amount of star maps from Peng Lai 100 years ago, and he had memorized them all. At this moment, he moved like a meteor through the star fog. This place was the border of the Rank 6 region, so Wang Lin immediately entered the Rank 6 region. Following the star map, Wang Lin flew toward the depths of the Rank 8 region. He moved at full speed toward the Wind's celestial realm. Although his Origin soul injury hadn't healed, his speed wasn't slow at all. With the addition of the speed talisman, his speed was no different from a First Heaven's Blight old monster. Along the way, countless cultivators noticed him, and their expressions changed greatly. No one dared to stop him. What fast speed! Who is this person? In the Rank 6 region, a group of more than 10 cultivators were rushing through the Rank 6 region. However, they felt the fog before them churn violently and a shocking aura passed by them. It was unimaginably fast, and after a long time, they heard the sound of the fog breaking. It was obvious this speed was faster than the speed of sound. The expressions of these more than 10 people changed greatly. They looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. This kind of speed is something even teacher can't achieve. If not for a treasure, then it must be an extremely rare Nirvana Shatter or Heaven's Blight old monster. The one chasing too hard. I'm begging for monthly votes. Chapter 1230. Wang Lin pushed his speed to the limit. As he moved, the fog before him seemed to be pierced by a sharp sword and was pushed to the side like a passing cloud. According to Wang Lin's understanding, the Rank 7 region was in a semi-sealed state to prevent outsiders from entering. This blockade covered the entire edge of the Rank 7 region, forming a ring formation. There were also cultivators from the various sects of the Rank 7 region taking turns to guard the area. This was completely different from the Rank 6 region. Wang Lin moved quickly through the Rank 6 region like a hot knife through butter. He passed through the endless fog and many floating continents along the way. His speed was too fast and caused a large amount of fog to move. This caught the attention of the old monsters in the Rank 6 region. However, when they saw Wang Lin's speed, even the old monsters were shocked. They immediately retreated and didn't dare to stop Wang Lin. They allowed him to pass through the various continents. In the cultivation world, cultivation represented everything, and the strong were respected. The speed Wang Lin displayed was enough to prove his strength. In particular, at this speed, it was impossible for other people's divine senses to lock onto him or see his cultivation level. As a result, they decided to avoid trouble and ignore him. If it wasn't Wang Lin and he dared to fly so arrogantly through the Rank 6 region without going around the continents where the various sects were, he would be stopped and his life would be in danger. Even with Wang Lin's speed, it would take a long time to travel from the Rank 5 region to the Rank 8 region. If he had to take a deed due to the various sects along the way, it would waste a lot of time. This was why Wang Lin decided to be arrogant and go straight ahead. No matter what continent or sect was ahead, he couldn't take a detour. Along the way, no cultivator dared to interfere, but some old monsters followed. Although they couldn't compare to Wang Lin's speed, they still followed. They obviously wanted to know why such a powerful cultivator had come to the Rank 6 region. After traveling through the Rank 6 region for nearly 10 days, Wang Lin passed through many continents and sects and gradually closed in on the Rank 7 region's blockade. There were very few cultivators in the Rank 6 region outside the blockade. It was very rare to see them. Wang Lin looked at the rank 7 region before him. There was a flash of ghostly light that formed a large formation that prevented all cultivators from entering. Unless one had a passage jade, they wouldn't be able to break through the blockade, and the moment they tried to charge in, the rank 7 sect cultivators would kill them. Wang Lin's expression was neutral. He naturally didn't have a passage jade, but he didn't slow down. Instead, he moved even faster toward the rank 7 region's blockade. Behind him were dozens of old monsters from various sects in the rank 6 region. Although they weren't as fast as Wang Lin, they could vaguely feel the fluctuations before them. When Wang Lin entered the border of the rank 6 region, their expressions became strange and they felt bored. They naturally knew that this was a high-level old monster wanting to return to his own region. Although they found it strange why he didn't use the transfer arrays of the higher rank sects, they didn't think too much about it. However, just as they were about to leave, they suddenly turned around and stared at the starry fog before them. They all felt that the person charging through their sects didn't slow down at all outside the blockade of the rank 7 region. Not only that, but he was even faster. These old monsters were all very intelligent. They immediately realized that this person didn't have a passage jade and was planning to break through the formation. This discovery immediately made these old monsters excited. They naturally had to see this kind of lively event clearly and couldn't let it go. This trip wasn't in vain. I can actually see him break through the formation. It had been a long time since anyone dared to provoke the majesty of the rank 7 region, much less break through the blockade. Wang Lin's expression was neutral as he moved faster and faster. He was getting closer and closer to the formation. From afar, one could see a meteor moving at an unimaginable speed toward the formation. When the cultivators inside the formation saw this, they all closed in. However, just at this moment, Wang Lin smashed into the formation. Rumbling sounds abruptly rang out, shaking the heavens and earth as they reverberated in the starry sky. Even the fog was pushed back, and the gigantic ceiling formation flickered with a dark light as crackling sounds rang out. With a bang, countless cracks appeared on the formation and spread rapidly. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a spiderweb. In the end, it collapsed into countless fragments that scattered in all directions due to the shocking impact. From beginning to end, Wang Lin's figure didn't pause at all. After breaking through the formation, he charged into the distance and passed by the dumbfounded cultivators guarding the formation. He gave off a shocking aura that made them subconsciously retreat. They watched as Wang Lin left, but none of them dared to say a word. The old monsters of the rank 6 region were all startled. Although they were prepared, their hearts still trembled when they saw this. Looking at the flash of ghostly light and the collapse of the formation, these old monsters all began to laugh. They all had high cultivation levels and didn't have much of a good impression of the rank 7 region. The existence of this formation was an eyesore to them. Now that they saw someone break the formation, they naturally felt their anger vent. However, they all became cautious in their hearts, and they began to speculate about the person who broke the formation. This person is indeed an old monster that has reached the Heaven's Blight stage. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to break the formation so easily. This matter has nothing to do with us. Let's see how the sects of the rank 7 region deal with it. Interesting. This old monster's personality must be temperamental. Instead of using the transfer array, he wants to break through it. It's obvious he doesn't care about the rank 7 region at all. After entering the rank 7 region, Wang Lin moved even faster. He only needed to pass the rank 7 region to enter the rank 8 region. The Wind's celestial realm was there. However, there were many experts in the rank 7 region, and they were far more powerful than the rank 6 region. Wang Lin quickly moved across a continent. However, just as he closed in, 4 Nirvana Shatterer auras erupted. These 4 auras turned into divine senses and blocked Wang Lin's path. They wanted to stop Wang Lin from moving forward. What fellow cultivator dares to break into my sex land? Do you want to leave just like that? A cold divine sense echoed, and the 4 divine senses charged at Wang Lin. Although Wang Lin's injuries hadn't healed, it was impossible for 4 Nirvana Shatterer cultivators to stop him. His expression was neutral as he waved his right hand. A giant palm print appeared. This palm print was so large that it seemed like it could cover the entire continent. The instant it appeared, the energy of heaven and earth gathered madly, causing the fog in the starry sky to tremble and distort violently. A vast might of the heavens descended upon the world in an instant. The moment the palm print appeared, it swept toward the 4 divine senses. War Spirit Print. God Sect Cultivator. The 4 divine senses were filled with disbelief, and they retreated without any hesitation. However, the palm print was too fast. It swept out and landed on the 4 divine senses. A thunderous rumble shook the heavens and earth, forming a powerful shockwave that spread out in all directions. Even the continent the sect was on trembled at this moment and was pushed back thousands of feet by the shockwave. This giant palm print continued to absorb origin energy as it moved forward. It became larger and larger, and the aura it gave off became even more earth-shattering. Wang Lin quickly moved behind the palm print. The palm print opened a path for him, and all the fog before him dodged. All of this happened in a flash. It was fast beyond belief. After Wang Lin left, the 4 old men sitting in the pavilions in the 4 corners all coughed out blood. When they opened their eyes, they couldn't hide the horror and shock in their eyes. They flew out at the same time and looked at where Wang Lin disappeared. They could still feel the thunderous rumbles and origin energy gathering like crazy. They were shocked by the War Spirit Seal and horrified by the cultivation divine ability of the person who used the War Spirit Seal. This person is strong enough to sweep through my rank 7 region. Fortunately, we didn't provoke him too much or reveal any killing intent. We just wanted to stay and ask a few questions. He was able to injure us with just 1 palm, and it was obvious he didn't use his full strength. Otherwise, the 4 of them looked at each other and gasped. A wave of lingering fear appeared in their hearts. The War Spirit Print opened a path and thunderous rumbles echoed. Endless origin energy was absorbed like crazy, causing the palm print to grow larger and larger. If it was 100 years ago, Wang Lin wouldn't have been able to control it, but now he still had power to spare. He moved behind the palm print and swept through the area. A shadow gradually appeared before him. It was a wild continent, and with a bang, the palm print landed on the continent. The continent trembled and countless cracks appeared. The palm print penetrated the continent. This continent was split in half. Who in the 7 realms would dare to block this kind of power? Most of the time, they would flee at the first sign of danger. There were even some who calculated in horror that the continents their sects belonged to seemed to be blocking the enemy's path. Immediately, all the cultivators of their sects rushed out, using all their strength to forcibly move the continents tens of thousands of feet away, immediately making way for the enemy. It took nearly 10 days for Wang Lin to close in on the rank 8 region with the help of the War Spirit Print. Chapter 12:31. At this moment, the War Spirit Print was extremely large. After absorbing too much origin energy, its power was enough to make any Nirvana Shatterer cultivator tremble in fear. 3 days ago, after the War Spirit Print reached the limit of what Wang Lin could control, he cut off its ability to absorb origin energy. As he moved through the fog, he got closer and closer to the rank 8 region. On this day, the rank 8 region appeared before Wang Lin. Traveling for nearly 20 days made Wang Lin very tired, but his eyes were abnormally bright. Although he was moving fast, he continued to consume pills and his injuries gradually recovered. There was no blockade between the rank 8 region and the rank 7 region, but there was a thick layer of fog. This fog was extremely vast and surrounded the entire cloud sea. Most of the fierce beasts here were rank 10 and above, and there were even rank 12 fierce beasts hiding in the depths. There were simply too many fierce beasts here, and it was a very famous dangerous place in the Cloud Sea. This place was called the Chaos Beast Fog Realm. The reason it was described as a realm was enough to show how big this place was. If a normal cultivator entered this place alone, not even their bones would be left behind. Only those truly powerful old monsters could travel through this place, but they had to be careful. However, it was unknown what method the divine sect had used to prevent the ferocious beasts within the fog from easily coming out. They continued to move about within the fog, absorbing the energy of the world. It was as if there was a boundary outside the thick fog. There were 4 paths opened inside the Chaos Beast Fog Realm, and only these 4 paths were relatively safe. They were the exits that Rank 8 sect disciples had to choose when they weren't using the transfer arrays. Rumor had it that these 4 paths were opened by the God sect countless years ago. They used a special method to keep these 4 paths safe, so they wouldn't be attacked by fierce beasts along the way. However, aside from the disciples of the Rank 8 sects or those with Jade Guides, no one else knew about these 4 paths. The only way to enter the Rank 8 region was to enter the Chaos Beast Fog Realm. If you didn't die, you might have a chance to enter the Rank 8 region. At this moment, there were 4 cultivators flying through the 3rd path of the Chaos Beast Fog world. The one in the lead was an old man in a black and white Taoist robe. He had silver hair, and although he looked old, his eyes seemed to contain lightning. Whenever he glanced at them, the fog in front of him would back off by several feet. This old man gave off a powerful Nirvana Shatterer aura. He was obviously at the peak of the Nirvana Shatterer stage. As he moved, he could control the law of the world with ease. Behind him followed 3 people, 2 men and 1 woman. They all looked young and were roughly at the Nirvana Cleanser stage. As for the woman, she was also wearing a Taoist robe, but it couldn't cover her curvaceous body at all. However, her appearance was extremely pure and she gave off a tempting charm. Often, when her gaze wandered, the eyes of the 2 men beside her would become filled with fanaticism. "Master, where exactly are you taking us?" As they flew, the woman's charming voice rang out. The old man didn't speak and flew for a bit until they arrived in the depths of the Chaos Beast Fog Realm. Only then did he stop and look back at the 3 of them. "You are all core disciples of my everlasting sect, but you have relied on pills to increase your cultivation level, so you don't have a deep understanding of the law of the world. The best way to comprehend the law of the heavens is in a life and death crisis. Today, Teacher has brought the 3 of you here. There are many fierce beasts here, so the 3 of you should spread out and slowly comprehend while battling the fierce beasts." As the old man spoke, he waved his sleeves and didn't wait for the 3 of them to reply. A powerful gust of wind swept the 3 of them into the surrounding fog. The old man silently pondered for a bit before sitting down. His divine sense spread out and he carefully observed his 3 disciples. Unless it was a life and death situation, he wouldn't save them. Outside the Chaos Beast Fog Realm, in the Rank 7 region, the War Spirit print flew by with Wang Lin following behind it. Back in Penglai, he knew a bit about this and vaguely found a route. However, he wasn't sure, and with his knowledge incomplete, it was likely he would get lost in the fog and lose his sense of direction. More importantly, the route he knew required him to take a big detour from where he was. As a result, it would take a lot more time, and it wasn't safe. After pondering for a bit, Wang Lin gave up on this choice. Instead, he decided to take a straight line and break through the Chaos Beast Fog Realm. This way, he could enter the Rank 8 region in the shortest amount of time. After making up his mind, Wang Lin didn't stop at all. With the War Spirit print opening the way, he closed in on the Chaos Beast Fog Realm outside the Rank 8 region. He moved like a meteor and entered the Chaos Beast Fog Realm. The moment the War Spirit print closed in, the fog before him retreated as if it didn't dare to get close and allowed the palm to enter. However, this fog was extremely strange. Although it retreated, It didn't make way like the fog Wang Lin had seen along the way. At this moment, the palm seemed to be surrounded and devoured by endless fog. The thunderous rumbles from the palm print caused the calm chaos beast fog realm to tremble, as if a stone had been thrown into a lake. Large amounts of ripples appeared, and as they tumbled violently, the faint roars of ferocious beasts came from within. Wang Lin's expression was neutral, and he didn't slow down at all as he followed behind the palm. His divine sense spread out, and he clearly felt that there was a large amount of fierce beasts inside the fog. Just at this moment, a roar that caused the fog to churn came from ahead. A red centipede about 1,000 feet long covered in hair suddenly appeared and charged at Wang Lin. This centipede was very ugly, especially the two giant pincers that gave off a cold glow. As its body swayed, a fishy wind blew by before it even got close. The moment the centipede appeared, all the fierce beasts that Wang Lin noticed immediately stopped roaring and scattered. It was as if this centipede was the king of this small area, and its appearance could make all the other fierce beasts retreat. Wang Lin's eyes were calm. With his cultivation level, he could tell at a glance that the centipede was rank 11, which was equivalent to a mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivator. For a fierce beast at this level to still dare to appear after detecting the war spirit print shocked Wang Lin. A moment later, the crimson centipede charged out from the fog ahead with a furious roar. The moment it appeared, it let out a long hiss at the sky. This hiss was earth-shattering, and it echoed like thunder, causing the fog around it to tremble. The centipede stared at the war spirit print and revealed a look of hatred. As it roared, a large amount of red light came from its body and formed a monstrous sea of fire. It charged at Wang Lin inside the sea of fire. Wang Lin didn't have time to pay attention to the centipede. The war spirit print closed in, and the moment it closed in, the sea of fire around the centipede turned into a firestorm. The firestorm surrounded the war spirit print in an attempt to stop it from moving forward. However, the war spirit print had absorbed too much power of the world and contained unimaginable power. The moment the flames got close, they were pushed back, and a large portion of them were extinguished the moment the war spirit print passed by. Wang Lin calmly moved forward after the palm print. He didn't pause at all and instantly passed by the centipede. All of this happened in a flash, and it was unbelievably fast. However, the centipede was unwilling to give up. It roared and chased after Wang Lin. Its body was covered in flames once more, and it stared at Wang Lin with hatred in its eyes. It was as if it wouldn't stop until it tore Wang Lin to shreds. At this moment, several furious roars sounded from the mist in the distance. 6 crimson centipedes that were also over 1,000 feet long were rushing toward this place from different directions. Even further away, another shocking roar came from the distance. This roar completely suppressed all the other roars, and it gave off the majesty unique to rank 12 beasts. A ferocious blue centipede that was 10,000 feet long charged toward Wang Lin from the depths of the fog at an extremely fast speed. The fog churned violently along the way, increasing the beast's speed. At the instant the 10,000 feet blue centipede roared, the old man in the Taoist robe sitting in the third path not too far away opened his eyes and stared into the distance. Shock appeared on his face. Rank 12 fire centipede spirit. Even though this beast lived in the fog world, it rarely appeared. What had happened today to make it roar so angrily? My disciples are still in the fog. If they run into this fire centipede spirit, it will be difficult for them to escape death. The old man's eyes lit up and he charged into the fog. When Wang Lin heard the roar that belonged to the rank 12 beast, he frowned slightly. He could naturally tell that these centipede beasts seemed to hate the war spirit print, which was why he had been implicated. The beast closest to me came to restrain me without caring about its own life, and then reinforcements came to help delay me so that the rank 12 beast has enough time to arrive. This is interesting. A cold light flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. He didn't care what kind of grudge these centipedes had with the divine sect, but if they provoked him, they would die. Killing intent flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. He knew that if he didn't kill the centipede behind him and continued to roar, he would undoubtedly expose his location. This roar was extremely ear-piercing to him. Since you're looking for death, then don't blame me. Wang Lin suddenly turned around as he moved forward. He raised his right hand and pointed at the beast behind him. The next chapter would come later. Chapter 1232. Fire of the heavens and earth, listen to my command. Burn. Wang Lin's voice was cold, and the moment it spread out, a shocking change appeared in the sea of fire around the beast. Wang Lin's rosefinch awakened for the third time and fused fire with law, becoming a new law in the world. This law contained the power of fire, and it could be said that all fire cultivators were useless before Wang Lin. Unless the opponent's fire was beyond the control of the heavens and surpassed the limits of law, all fire before Wang Lin could be extinguished. At this moment, as Wang Lin's words echoed, the sea of fire around the red centipede trembled. Without any pause, the sea of fire was pushed back toward the centipede. At the same time, popping noises resounded from the centipede's body as an even denser flame energy violently burst out from its body. A loud bang rang out, and fear appeared in the centipede's eyes. Its body was burned from the inside out by the flames, and waves of miserable cries echoed in the air. However, after a moment, everything stopped. A fireball 1,000 feet wide shot into the sky and lit up the surrounding fog. It gradually extinguished, and the centipede inside was burned to ashes. All of this happened in an instant. For Wang Lin, it only took him one finger. He didn't even look at the result. The moment he pointed, he turned around and charged forward with the war spirit print. The moment the fire centipede died, a sorrowful and angry roar came from the distance. It was the several centipedes that were also 1,000 feet long closing in at an even faster speed. The hatred in the 10,000 feet blue centipede's eyes became even stronger. It let out a roar and moved even faster, giving off a fishy smell. If I recover from my injuries, it shouldn't be difficult for me to kill this rank 12 beast. Even now, since it's a fire beast, it shouldn't be difficult for me to fight it. Wang Lin frowned. Not long after he moved forward, killing intent appeared in his eyes. You're courting death. A red light came from the fog to the right of Wang Lin. It was like a sea of fire that rushed out from the fog. The sea of fire was more than 10,000 feet wide, and seemed like it was going to burn the fog. The moment it appeared, it rushed toward Wang Lin. There was another 1,000 feet long centipede that rushed toward Wang Lin. It was very fast and closed in the blink of an eye. The sea of fire was very hot, and it was less than 1,000 feet away from Wang Lin. Wang Lin let out a cold snort and waved his right hand. A shocking change occurred. The sea of fire paused for a moment and was pushed back. It was like a raging wave as it charged at the centipede. At the same time, the flames around the centipede also went berserk. They charged toward the centipede, and suddenly, another huge flame image appeared. The centipede didn't even have time to let out a miserable scream before it was burned by the fire. The fire that was burning it was no longer red, but blue. Just as the fire rushed into the sky, two more sea of fire rushed over. They were two centipedes that charged toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with killing intent. He originally didn't want to be entangled with these fierce beasts, but these fierce beasts wouldn't stop until he was dead. There was a flash of coldness, and Wang Lin began a massacre. The star of law formed by his domain appeared between his eyebrows. Blue flames surrounded his body, and he charged toward the fog on the left. A moment later, a heaven-shaking rumble came from the fog. At the same time, the sea of fire was monstrous. The miserable scream immediately dissipated, leaving only the endless heat that echoed in the fog. Immediately after, blue flames appeared in another direction. A huge fireball suddenly condensed and then exploded with a boom, turning into specks of blue flames that scattered in all directions. All of this happened in an instant. Wang Lin walked out from the fog with a cold expression and charged forward to catch up to the war spirit print. There were no more fierce beasts blocking his path. It was obvious that the battle just now had terrified them. However, the 10,000 feet blue centipede that was closing in became even more enraged. It was simply too far away, and even if it charged forward at full speed, it would still need a lot of time to catch up. As it roared, the blue centipede immediately went mad. Thick, faint, blue flames spread out from its body. At the instant it surrounded its body, it shrank, and popping sounds immediately came from its body. In an instant, a thin blue line flashed across its body and spread out. It was as if there was an invisible blade cutting open a crack on its body from head to tail. The moment the crack appeared, there was a flash of blue light. A slightly smaller centipede that was more than 8,000 feet long broke free from the crack. Its speed increased several-fold as it charged forward, surrounded by blue flames. Not long after, cracks appeared on the 8,000-foot-long centipede's body again, and an even smaller 6,000-foot-long centipede flew out. Its speed doubled once again. Using this strange method, the centipede continued to shed its shell. Its body continued to shrink, but its speed increased like crazy. Wang Lin moved through the Chaos Beast fog realm with the War Spirit print opening a path. He gradually got closer and closer to the rank 8 region. Along the way, he encountered many fierce beasts, but with his slaughter and the War Spirit print, he was able to force a bloody path through them. The longer he stayed inside the fog, the more Wang Lin felt like this place was strange. If he stayed here for too long, he would attract even more fierce beasts. Once that happened, it would be extremely difficult to charge out unless his cultivation was completely healed. After using nearly 4 days of time, Wang Lin closed in on the edge of the Chaos Beast fog realm. After leaving this place, he would be able to enter the rank 8 region. However, just at this moment, Wang Lin suddenly turned around and pointed at the War Spirit print. The print circled around and appeared before Wang Lin. At the same time, Wang Lin formed a seal without hesitation and pointed at the War Spirit print once more. The giant print trembled and the absorption of origin energy that Wang Lin had stopped collapsed. It began to absorb origin energy like crazy once more. Just at this moment, there was a flash of blue light inside the fog before Wang Lin. An unimaginable heat spread out and shrouded the surrounding 100,000 feet. An angry roar came from the fog, and as the fog was pushed back, a 3,000-foot-long centipede charged out. There was a monstrous, blue sea of fire around it. The moment the centipede appeared, the aura of a rank 12 fierce beast spread out. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes, and he waved his right hand without hesitation. The War Spirit print charged out at the centipede as it absorbed origin energy. It was very fast, and as it rumbled, it caused the fog to spin and collide with the centipede. The centipede let out a heaven-shaking hiss and stared ferociously at the giant palm. Its body flashed as it charged toward the palm under the blue flames. However, when it got close to the palm, its body suddenly twisted and the blue flames collided with the palm. A heaven-shaking rumble echoed as it dodged like lightning and charged at Wang Lin. Its ferocious expression and sharp pincers made it look like it wanted to devour Wang Lin. This scene, combined with the giant palm behind it, was extremely beautiful. Wang Lin's expression was cold and the star of law appeared between his eyebrows. As it rotated rapidly, his body trembled and a dark blue sea of fire spread out. Compared to the light blue of the centipede, this dark blue was shocking. The centipede's body paused imperceptibly and its eyes became serious, but it didn't retreat. Instead, it rushed forward like crazy. The sea of fire on its body became even more majestic, and the blue light was shocking. Wang Lin raised his right hand and pointed forward. He didn't need any fancy spells to fight against a fire divine arts master. Just one move was enough to decide the outcome. With a point of his finger, the deep blue sea of flames around him suddenly surged, gathered, and charged forward. As it rushed forward, a blue light flashed and formed a giant, blue rosefinch in the sea of fire. This rosefinch let out a roar and charged at the centipede. The centipede immediately let out a roar and raised its upper body like a snake raising its head. It stared at Rosefinch, and the light blue flames on its body gathered like crazy, forming a monstrous force around its body. It collided with the blue Rosefinch that was closing in. Thunderous rumbles shook the entire Chaos Beast Fog realm. The beast consciousnesses of several rank 12 beasts rushed toward this place. At this moment, an extremely powerful aura that even made Wang Lin's heart tremble rushed out from the depths of the Chaos Beast Fog realm and completely suppressed the auras of all the rank 12 beasts. Thunderous rumbles shook the heavens and earth as the two flames collided. The Rosefinch let out a roar and quickly retreated. It charged at Wang Lin with a hint of unwillingness. The moment it charged into Wang Lin's body flickered and he retreated into the distance. The sea of fire before the centipede collapsed in an instant, and its body exploded. Half of its body turned into a pool of blood, but the remaining half didn't die. It let out a miserable roar and quickly disappeared into the fog. Within the fog, the boundless sect elder's pupils constricted, and shock appeared in his eyes. Who is this person? He actually has a flame that surpasses the fire centipede spirit, and his cultivation is extremely powerful. If it wasn't for him being injured, even I wouldn't have the confidence to fight him. He is not someone from the God sect. The old man has seen the war spirit print before. Although what he used is similar, it is not the war spirit print. The three disciples beside the old man were also dumbfounded, and they revealed looks of astonishment. The three of them originally thought that their cultivation was already sufficient, but the scene just now caused their hearts to tremble violently. In particular, the beautiful female cultivator's eyes lit up as she looked in the direction Wang Lin had left. No one knew what she was thinking. At this moment, the aura that suppressed all the sure sands in the Chaos Beast Fog realm was filled with madness and anger. The old man suddenly looked up as if he had thought of something. His expression changed and he waved his sleeve to take his three disciples to the third path. This place can no longer allow the three of them to train. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.